Last time on Square Roots, we blast off for anal adventure when we're abducted by aliens. Later, we stick it to the man at the local PCA meeting, break into a government base, and befriend some goths. Hey, do you think they want to LARP some Vampire the Masquerade with me? My name is Moonshine Bloodheart, and I'm a Treme. Behold my dark majesty!
Hey everyone, and welcome to Square Roots, the classic RPG podcast. My name is Jim Banks. I'm joined by Matthew Van Sant.
Hello, friends.
John, Prince of Canada, Brandon.
I thought it was going to be Christmas is only one day a year, Brandon.
I thought he was going to be Johnny Banff, Brandon.
And Vanessa.
I'm Vanessa.
What did you think
And
Johnny
this
was
is a
gonna be?
podcast where we play and talk about your favorite classic RPGs, one chunker at a time. And tonight we are finishing up our series on South Park: The Stick of Truth, John's favorite and easiest to master game.
I love it.
Content warnings for this chunker include everything, plus whatever else you're imagining that you think they don't need a content warning for that, because there's no way this game deals with issues of abortion or really just abortion. Sexually transmitted diseases, homophobia, pedophilia.
There's some full frontal nudity here.
So all of that.
The entire final boss fight.
Yeah.
Just an old naked man in the corner.
Well, before we get into the show proper, does anybody have any hot gaming news to share with the group?
I got some big hot gaming news.
Okay.
You hear about everybody, as a bunch of 20-somethings, favorite, hottest game, Fortnite, right?
Love it.
Bang, bang, bang. We love to build them and bang them and shoot them and loot them. We're all Fortnite guys.
Yeah.
Team Squoots, if you ever want to look us up, we've got a 100% win rate, a 100% kill rate. We're the best in the biz. Best in the biz.
I like building forts.
Did you hear about this new mashup they're doing? That's right. Here comes Goku. Bang.
Cool.
Boom. You know who's super into this mashup? Gen Z. That's right.
Yeah.
The Zoomers. Are they the Zoomers? I get confused on some of these nicknames.
I don't know.
Us Zoomers love this mashup because, our dad was into Dragon Ball Z. So now it's reminds me of my dad.
Yeah. Yep. That's actually accurate for the Zoomer child in my life. He's super excited. My 11-year-old is super excited for it. You know? Which means I'm going to have to spend yet another $20 on fucking Fortnite. That's how that game makes its money.
I'm ripping off parents.
Yep. It is what it is, I guess.
What other hot gaming news is there amongst the group? John, I think you had one or two articles of hot gaming news.
Well, Hitman 3 has released a new level for free.
Isn't that game 10 years old?
We were kind of riffing on this in the chat the other day. There was a Hitman 3, and then Vanessa made a joke about...
Well, it's because
Edith Finch
is now available in 4K 60.
Oh, right.
And I said, I can't wait to see that baby drown in 4K 60. Spoilers for Edith Finch.
Yeah. And then we were all shaming Vanessa for being too dark.
Yeah,
too dark.
That's true.
We keep it light here. We keep it fun.
This is not a pro-baby murder podcast.
No, but I've been playing so much Stick of Truth that now I'm just an edgelord.
Yeah, it's true.
Oh, that's true, yeah. She's a big troll now.
I'm a big edgelord. I'm a big troll. I love Pele the Frog. And I love...
Pele the Frog.
Yeah, Pele the Frog. And
Pele the Frog.
Other such alt-right icons.
Other alt-right icons
like Donald Trump.
like Donald Trump and like that face that's like, you know, like that.
Yeah, Vanessa.
Troll face.
Vanessa is a mod on R the
face.
Donald now.
Yeah, I'm a mod on R the Donald, and I only
that
do
guy-
my social media on the
got
Truth
nuked.
Network.
Oh yeah, Vanessa's on Truth Social.
I'm on Truth Social,
Uh-huh.
so you can follow me on there for all of my hot takes.
Yep, she loves retweeting the president. She loves being the very first person to retweet the former president of the United States. That's
I feel
her
like
goal.
someday,
It's
someday he'll
ReTruths.
notice
Thank
me.
you.
Sorry,
Like, what if
retruth.
What if I get to go like stand behind him at a rally? Can you imagine?
Oh, that'd be so cool.
I'd get that like as the wallpaper for my house. You know? Like not a desktop wallpaper. I'd go to one of those places that will print out any picture and then you put it on your wall as a wallpaper. It would be like me standing behind my man. And then I'd write on it, behind every great man is a woman.
You heard it here first, ladies and gentlemen. Burn your Vanessa diaries
Burn
because
your Vanessa
she's
dictionary.
a Trumpster for life.
It's where you keep all my great words that I make up. Can't remember what they are. That's why you are the dictionary keeper and I am the dictionary sayer.
Is there any other HGN?
I got some HGN.
Oh, okay.
It's game delay season, and one of our very first victims up is Marvel's Midnight Suns.
Boo.
You were
What
looking-
What was that
Yay. I don't know.
Marvel's Midnight Suns is a Marvel character game, but it has all the Dark Avengers, like Doctor
Blade.
Strange, Blade,
Wolverine. Ghost Rider. Man Thing.
Dark Man Thing, and Dark Iron Man, Dark
Probably.
Captain America.
Very likely.
Dark Hulk.
Dark
And
Hulk.
some
Probably
kind of
Venom. Or a
dark
version
No,
of Dark
Venom.
Spider-Man.
Venom's in there for sure.
Carnage. Probably Carnage.
And an original character, Dark Lady.
Dark Captain
Lady.
America.
It's a good name, Dark Lady.
Mm-hmm. It was supposed to come out initially in March, got pushed to October. Now it's pushed again to, drumroll please, first quarter 2023.
That's getting canceled.
That's fine.
Well, you know, I would like to make a recommendation to all of our listeners and all of my friends here in the room, here in the Square Roots house with me, to do what I do and never pay attention to or memorize the release dates for upcoming games, so that it's always a fun surprise when things come out.
Yeah, that's what I do.
I googled Midnight Suns, and on the website it asked the important question: can Doctor Strange, Iron Man, and Blade put aside their differences in the face of a growing worldwide threat? I'd bet my bottom dollar that the answer is yes.
What kind of differences do they have?
What kind of game is this?
It's
And
like an
Iron Man
XCOM.
is a man.
It's like an
it's like
XCOM.
an
Matt.
XCOM?
It's
That's
by the
interesting.
XCOM people.
That actually gets me more interested in it, because I was afraid you were going to say it's like an Ultimate Alliance. And I gotta be honest, those games did not do it for me.
Oh, I like the Ultimate Alliance games.
Just didn't do it for me, bud. I don't know. The gameplay I found just too repetitive and boring, you know?
I think they're fun with friends.
Yeah, I'm sure. I've never had any friends
Yeah, we
until I moved into the Square Roots house.
All around me are familiar faces, worn out places.
You guys want to talk about how we leveled up now?
Sure.
Sure.
Yeah.
I'll go. I'll keep mine brief.
Do it.
I saw the movie Prey, the new Predator film.
I'm going to watch that this
and
weekend.
it rules. It's fantastic. The lead is great. It's about a tribe of Comanches in like 1719. They get pitted against a predator. And like I said, the lead is great, and she has a really great dog companion that's awesome, and in the movie a bunch, which is cool. Movie's great. Check it out. And I also started reading a book of short stories by horror author John Langan called Corpse Mouth and Other Autobiographies. It is also fantastic. John Langan is an amazing author. If you haven't checked out his stuff, you should if you like kind of literary horror stuff. He has an excellent novel called The Fisherman I've talked about before. So I would suggest checking that out as well. Vanessa, how did you level up?
I played 2 bad games. I was having
Stick of truth.
Yeah. I was having sort of a day, so I decided I'm just going to play some video game, and I chose the ABC Murders, a Poirot adventure.
Oh,
Wow.
these little gray cells, he will solve the mysteries.
Yeah. I love Agatha Christie. I love Poirot. This game sucks. I played it on console, on PS4, or 5, excuse me, because it's part of their, like, deluxe membership plus.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I got to unsubscribe from that.
It sucked. The controls were bad, and the puzzles were bad, and it was bad. And then I played Harvest Moon, Light of Hope. It sucks. I played through the quest line. It's stupid. Characters suck, and it's an ugly game. But I'll probably continue to play it because, although I finished the main quest line, I have not yet procured a sweet floppy-haired husband. I'm, of course, wooing every eligible man in town, and once I have wooed them all, I will decide which one to take home to be my bride. That's how I leveled up. Matt, how did you level up?
Hey, I watched a television show that I wanted to talk about. There's a lot of television shows coming out this month. It's a stacked schedule. But I watched one that I loved, and it was called The Sandman on Netflix. And it's based on the comic series by Neil Gaiman.
Beloved comic series.
It does seem to be a very faithful, relatively faithful, up to a point, very faithful.
Well, how can you say that? Because I heard that they put a girl where there was a boy before.
The cast is all excellent. Not one single complaint to be had amongst any of them. It's very faithful to the story. They did have to change some things. They did remove any link to the DC universe, which the original Sandman did have.
Huh.
A little bit of Batman and Superman showing up at the beginning, just to kind of establish it as part of it.
We think this Sandman guy is cool and extreme.
John Constantine showed up and as part of it as well, and they did some interesting things. And I'll just say, for John Constantine, they just gender swapped the character and named her Joanna Constantine, and she was fucking fantastic. It's fantastic.
She's saying she's Constantine or something.
It's Constantet. When a male character gets a female equivalent, you add tet or et to the end, as in Smurfettes.
They did not do that, but yes, Constantinette was great. The whole cast is great. It has Gwendolyn Christie as Lucifer, and she is fucking incredible. Legitimately the best part of the show. Eats up the whole episode she's in. Episode 4, probably the best episode of the series. It's kind of slow, and it's very much like the series it's based on. It's kind of anthology-ish, where the main character is Dream, but he's kind of never the main character of the actual story. He's generally just kind of hovering around the edges of it, as a, Deus Ex Machina, basically. But it works because it knows what it's doing with that and does fun things with it. And sometimes Dream gets to star. And otherwise, like a lot of the stuff that if you read The Sandman, you would be looking for, like, I'm never great with titles, but that great one shot with Dream and Death and like The High Cost of Living or whatever, that might be the series. That might be anyway, is fantastic and feels very much just like it did on the page. It looks great. There's some dodgy CGI here and there, but there's also some fucking great CGI here and there. And at this point, nothing seems to have consistent CGI, so it's a little hard for me at least to, worry about that too much. Anyway, I don't know. Anybody know about Sandman? Anybody watch Sandman?
I haven't yet.
I heard about Sandman. I heard that initially when the character was being drawn and conceived, they thought about David Bowie.
This guy is definitely all sharp jaw. He is 100% jaw and poofy black hair tall. That's it. He's kind of the blandest guy on the show. Like, he does not do much other than, like, say things very meaningfully to the characters in the show, you know? It's like I said, like, he's a force in the show, but he's really the main character. He just kind of comes in at the end and says some cool shit and then does something. So he doesn't have to do much. And he's good. I think he's great. He doesn't have a ton to do, I think. He's got the least to do of everybody on the show, I think. But he looks great and he sounds great. He's great. It's a great show. Okay.
John.
John. How did you level up?
Hello. Played South Park. It feels like that's all I did. I'm sure I did other things, but it feels like
You
I
went
just
to the
played.
mall.
The mall.
You bought that cool shirt.
Not.
You got a
this week.
tattoo.
I didn't. I didn't do that. I ordered a new 3DS off of eBay.
That's exciting.
Where'd you guys go? Let me try
John
that
frozen?
again.
Is it John or is it me?
John.
It's John.
One sec.
Okay.
I guess he's done leveling up.
I'll tell you more about Sandman. It's got the guy that played Lupin in Harry Potter. He's a good actor. He's been in a ton of stuff. I could not tell you his name.
I know his name. It's David Thewlis.
David Thewlis. The first few
Is that
episodes
true?
have...
Yeah.
It can't
Yes.
be.
That's true.
Is it?
Yep.
And the first few episodes have what's-his-face that everybody knows that's in all the horror movies and was Tyrion Lannister in Game of Thrones. Charles Dance.
Charles Dance.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, and most of the, the show has, multiple, probably 3 or 4, arcs, and each of them do kind of have, at least one recognizable actor in them. It's pretty fun.
I like that Boyd Holbrook is also in it, who's one of my favorite actors.
Is that the guy that plays the Corinthian? Yeah, he's fucking fantastic. They expand his role a little bit to kind of cover up some of the stuff that's lost from cutting out DC stuff, and it really works. They just kind of use him as a presence to kind of explain how something's tied together. Really works.
He's one of those guys that's got charisma.
Yeah.
And he kind of makes everything he's in a little bit better, I think.
Hello.
All right.
He's fantastic throughout the entire series.
Hello. Can you hear
Hello,
me?
you're back to your level
you're
up.
back.
Okay.
Hi, welcome back.
Hello.
You got a
Sorry,
3DS.
My iPad crashed.
Weird.
Is such a thing possible?
Yes.
Yeah.
It was updating the apps as I was using them or something. I don't know. It was doing something really jerky like that. Anyway, I remember what I did. I made a little bit of a whoopsie on my credit card.
Uh-oh.
Oh, yeah, I heard about that.
Bought a stack of video games and a new Nintendo 3DS, but I'm gonna call that a business expense for Square Roots, I think, because it's my birthday. Oh yeah, that's one thing. I aged up.
You aged up. 21. The only one of us that can drink.
I think a lot of
He
people didn't
always could. He was
understand
Canadian.
Oh, that's right.
So I posted
You
a
have pubes
picture
yet? Because
of
I still don't have them, and Jim doesn't either.
cubes,
I wish
Yeah.
I did.
Because we're
like
so
power
young.
cubes, or like those
Power
those.
pubes.
What are those cubes from Transformers called? The Spark?
Energon cubes.
Energon
Yeah.
cubes. Yeah.
None of us have any thanks to our sponsorship with Manscaped and the Lawnmower
That's true.
4.0.
Yeah.
What? No, we're not doing that anymore. John, what games did you get? Which version of the 3DS did you get? And what games did you get?
Well, I ordered a new Nintendo 3DS. So it's actually a used new Nintendo 3DS. Because in 2016, they released a new version of the Nintendo 3DS called the new Nintendo 3DS with upgraded memory and processor and a camera that tracked your eyes. So the 3D worked a lot better. Sort of the lenticular screen moved with your eyes, so you could focus on the 3D. Because that's one of the I love the 3DS, and I think that the 3D looks really cool when it works, but it doesn't work a lot of the time. I get a lot of ghosting and stuff. So I really am interested in seeing this. And also, I had a new Nintendo 3DS in my eBay not eBay, my Amazon like checkout thing, and I never hit go on it, and then suddenly it's like, this is out of stock. And I feel, like when you don't buy a thing and then you find out afterwards, oh, now everyone wants one, and they've gone up in price from what you could have bought them new for. Don't you hate that feeling? Don't you?
I hate it. What games did you buy?
I got Shin Megami Tensei 5.
Nice. That's
for
the
the
new
Nintendo
one, right?
Switch. Yeah, that's the new one. I got just regular Paper Mario, the Origami King for the Nintendo Switch.
Oh.
And that game's so fun, I think we should do it for the show. I just think it's delightful.
Well, put it on the votes. Nintendo
I would
RPGs.
Yeah, there's a lot of those. But, I think we should probably stick to stuff that's on the Switch, because Jim hates playing the 3DS.
I hate playing
don't
the 3DS.
hate it.
Wait,
I'll play
my
another game
answer.
on the 3DS. I usually don't like
will not.
playing games on handheld, but I really enjoyed Bowser's Inside Story, and I've played Paper Mario before, and that's enjoyable.
Okay. This one's on Switch, though, so at least it's
That'll be fine.
No, we'll think about that because they're another shorty we could do. And I think Origami King is just so delightful. I think you all would love it. The writing is really fun. And it's pretty, too. Surprisingly pretty for a Switch game. That game Nintendo's really good at making the most out of their consoles.
Yeah, they certainly are.
Let me look. Xenoblade Chronicles 3, the new Xenoblade. Apparently, it's amazing.
Meh.
Apparently, I also need to finish 1 and 2 first, and those are like 100 hours long each.
Yikes.
Never gonna happen. Just play the new one.
And what else is there? I got 2 games for the 3DS. Oh, Samus Returns, because that one was cheap.
Which one is that?
That's the remake of Metroid 2 for the 3DS. And then the last one was Legend of Zelda: The Link Between Worlds, because apparently that's one of the best Zelda games ever made. It's a sequel to Link to the Past.
Yes, it's a direct sequel to Link to the Past, and the 3D is fantastic in it. Zelda just really works for that. Like, that top-down view, that really works well with the 3D. Like, the whole thing feels like you're looking into a little diorama, and it's fucking great.
A little Gaiorama.
It's a great game. It's a little different than the other ones in that I think it gives you the ability to get all of the items or weapons up front, but you can only carry one at a time. You rent them from somebody.
Yeah, that sounds very strange.
It's weird, but in a lot of ways it just kind of makes it just kind of streamlines a process that already exists, But it gives you even more opportunity, though, to play it however you want, I think.
And then finally, Famicom Detective Club, the 2-pack of mystery games for the Nintendo Switch. They are pretty neat. I haven't really done that many Japanese adventure games other than Phoenix Wright and Snatcher, so it's neat playing another one of those. I've also been playing a lot of Phoenix Wright. I've just been in the mood for portable. I don't know, something about summertime makes me in the mood for portable games.
I know why, because you want to go to summer camp, have a fun time, summertime fun time, and sit by the campfire and lie in your little bunk with your sleeping bag and play your video game clandestinely, because you're not supposed to have electronics, but what the counselors don't know can't hurt you.
I think my love of portable games goes back to, like, my brothers always being on the TV, so I couldn't, play my games, but I could play a portable game. I should have got a Game Boy. That's if I went back in time, I wouldn't kill Hitler. I would make sure that I got a Game Boy as a kid, because that, instead of TurboGrafx or something, because there's way more good games for Game Boy than TurboGrafx.
I'd like to point out that when we were discussing whether or not we should kill baby Hitler, as everyone does from time to time, I proposed the alternative of taking him when he was a baby and raising him with love and tolerance, and Jim's counter-proposal, because he was very against killing baby Hitler, was to wait till he was a teenager and kill him then.
My proposal was I said I would absolutely time assassinate Hitler, but like I'm gonna wait until he deserves it a little, you know?
Yeah.
Like to some degree. I'm not gonna
Wait till
kill a
the
baby.
first time he masturbates and then kill
Yep. No. You know, probably wait until he. Probably I would be like, you should just stay a painter, or I'm gonna blow your fucking head off, motherfucker.
You ever
Watch for the
see
rest of your life?
Boys from Brazil? The movie?
Mm-mm.
It's a very strange movie about a Jewish Nazi hunter looking for the rest of the Nazis hiding in like Brazil and Argentina and stuff. But then he finds out that they've been cloning Hitler, and they have all these like Hitler clones who are like 11 years old, and they have been raised in a way because they know that it's not just it's nurture and nature. So they try to like kill their father when he's 10 years old, etc., to try and make it happen, like to have him have the exact same childhood experience. It's a really interesting. It's from the 70s. I think it's like Laurence Olivier playing the Nazi hunter or something. It's really weird.
That does sound weird.
It's a bonkers movie.
Well, we ready to talk about the game?
Yeah, Vanessa's leveled up. Have you leveled up, Jim?
I did.
Oh, okay. Yeah, sure. Let's talk about this game.
For the last time. Oh, so sad.
Oh, but one thing, a little special segment I've been wanting to do. Can you imagine being back in 2014? What were you doing in 2014 when this game came out? Were you thinking about how Kim Kardashian had that one picture of her butt with a wine glass on it, and then water was going
It was champagne.
Champagne was going into the champagne glass? Is that your big 2014 memories?
No, though I do remember that. People said it broke the internet, and then it turns out it was just like a redo of a better old picture.
Were you loving Groot? Saying, haha, I am Groot! Because it was 2014.
I remember my favorite piece of pop culture from 2014 was Too Many Cooks. Do you remember Too Many Cooks?
Yeah.
Yeah, I do remember Too Many Cooks.
I remember finding that funny for like a day.
It's still pretty good.
Funny one time.
Do you remember that one of the big things from 2014 was Bradley Cooper took a picture of a lot of celebrities. And it really, if you go back and look at that picture, it looks like Kevin Spacey photoshopped himself in there.
Oh, that like selfie from the Oscars or whatever?
Yes.
Yeah, I remember that. Are you doing a like you remember thing, like the things we find in this game?
Yeah, why are we doing this?
I don't know, because it's 20. I like doing that sometimes, like going back in time. What were you all doing in 2014?
Johnny's famous segment, Going Back in Time, remembering 2014. Guys, stop harassing Johnny. Johnny, please continue.
Yeah.
John, I love the teens. Johnny's segment, I love the teens.
What were you all doing in 2014? Jim?
I think I was working at a sportswear company, and I had like a 3-year-old daughter.
Ooh, Vanessa.
I was in middle school.
Oh,
Is that right?
Yeah.
2014?
Yeah, I think that sounds around right. I don't know when middle school is, but sure.
It was either like the first year of middle school or the last year of grade school.
Right. But how old are you at 14? Or no, you would have been 16. So yeah, you would have been in high school.
Yeah.
Right?
I was in high school. I was Sweet 16. I was running for junior homecoming queen.
Did you cry when you found out what happened to How I Met Your Mother?
Yeah, I cried because I was really invested in those characters. Like, I grew up with them. And, a lot of people were mad about it. But
what was the big reveal? I don't remember. It made no impact on me.
The mother was a lady who like hadn't been in the show at all, and then she married the guy, and then she got cancer and she died. And then he was like, what am I going to do? I'm still in love with this other lady who in the show she married Neil Patrick Harris, but then we find out from like a after credit scene that they got divorced. So he's like, I guess I'll go marry her. That was it.
Was that Robin?
Well, the kids were like,
he end up with
go
Robin,
marry Aunt Robin.
Yeah.
Yeah. And people were like, well, obviously that's what they wanted to happen from the beginning. It's those two characters to get together, but they had no chemistry. And everyone
Let's get
loved her
married
with
at the
Barney.
mall.
Oh yeah, that was a good one. So that was an interesting 2014 bit. I don't know. I just wanted to think we haven't had retro 20 teens yet, and I just thought it'd be funny to think about where we. Oh yeah, in 2014 I was working at a car dealership and I hated it because I got laid off from the post-production place I was working at and moved to Montreal and I couldn't find work there.
In 2014 I had 3 young children in my house, and I had 3 young children and was still married and had no time for fucking anything ever.
Not for fucking anything ever. And
2016,
then
Vanessa.
Started this show in 2016 when I was just out of high school. That's right.
Normally, when I go to a year, I bring up like one of the top hits of 2014. I can't remember a top hit of 2014. I'm thinking Lord, but that's 2013.
If only there was some
Mambo
way
number
to find
5.
Top hits of 2014.
The Macarena. Toxic by
The
Britney
top hit
Spears.
of 2014 was all about that
Do You Want to
bass
Be My
by
Lover
Meghan
by
Trainor.
Spice Girls.
It was a song of empowerment for big girls.
And Chandelier and Anaconda.
Fancy by Iggy Azalea.
Oh, I was thinking Happy might have been that year. Happy.
Yeah,
was the
that
biggest.
song sucks.
Every song on it sucked.
Oh, and
terrible
Fancy. Oh, I should have thought of that.
list.
Katy Perry's Roar.
Yeah. So 2014.
Wow, I was going to say
Fancy
Katy Perry's
hitting-
Roar is a joke. I'm the smartest.
Fancy's hitting top of the charts. Matthew's got 3 kids in the house. Jim is working at a sports place. Vanessa's turning sweet 16. Johnny's working at a car dealership. And South Park: The Stick of Truth is released. So let's talk.
20
about
years
South
after
Park.
South Park came out in the first place?
Almost. 17
Yeah,
years.
in 2014, Stick of Truth was released featuring humor from 2008.
I've been last night I was listening to some podcasts from 2006 from oneup.com. They were the first podcast I ever listened to, a show called
Me too.
Retronauts that still goes on today. And because I was talking with one of the hosts on Twitter about it, and he's like, oh yeah, I was a real garbage person back then. I hope I didn't say anything too bad. I was like, you know what? I don't remember you being like homophobic and shitty. So that, that's good, at least. And going back and listening to it now, there's so many jokes we wouldn't make now. It's like they drop the R word so many, like all the time.
No, that's not allowed.
I know, but it was 2006.
That wasn't allowed when I was in like grade school. So by the
Yeah.
time I was in high school, that should have been over.
Yeah.
No, people said it all the time in 2006, for sure.
Oh, 2006. I thought we were still talking about 2016.
No, but I just thought.
Vanessa had not been born in 2006. I
Yeah.
think.
Oh, that's true. That's true. Back then, people used to drop the R word all the time.
What was the first podcast you ever listened to, Jim?
That one. The One Up one.
How about you, Matt?
I believe it was Comedy Bang Bang.
I'm friends with. Do you remember Scott Sharkey on the One Up podcasts, Jim?
Vaguely.
I'm Twitter friends with him. He's really fun.
Oh, neat.
Yeah. All right, let's move on.
Female listeners
All
may
right,
have
stick
noticed
a-
that while I asked them questions about what their first podcast was, none
Oh,
of them
Vanessa,
asked me about
what
what
was?
my first
I thought you
podcast
would
was.
volunteer it,
A
but I
lot
guess
of women
not.
have talked about how they go on dates and they'll ask men questions about themselves, and the men will answer the questions, but they never reciprocate or seem to show any interest in what the woman has on her mind. Just an interesting little social experiment we've run here on the Square Roots podcast.
Wow. I feel called out. Vanessa,
Yeah.
what was your first podcast?
This American Life. So moving on.
Part 2. South Park. Stick of Truth.
Yeah.
We start day 3.
Well, we're at the end of day 2, technically.
No.
And then we
want
wake up
underpants.
in the middle of the
But
night.
why?
Yeah.
Sorry, I'll
two
stop.
Two small gnomes trying to steal underpants, I guess.
They have a pretty good song. It's like,
We are the gnomes and we love underpants and we won't stop till we get underpants.
I like that they, one, curse a lot, and two, communicate in a lot of corporate speak.
Mhm.
Like, all of their magic attacks are all like synergistic, whatever, or
Dividends.
yeah.
Fiscal prudence. I think there is one called fiscal prudence.
Yeah.
well, they're just there doing their job, and their job is to get underpants.
Mm-hmm. And
And the first time we fight them, we are normal size and they are little, and we beat the hell out of them.
mhm. And then one of their like magical chieftain bears, who's like weirdly the most attractive man in South Park somehow. He shows up and he turns the boy into a tiny person with no magic.
Yeah, then we're little, and then we have to fight the gnomes, and then they retreat into a hole in the wall, and we follow them. And I liked all of the environmental stuff you can do here. You can avoid most of the battles in this section by using the environment.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Killing rats, primarily rats here.
I was genuinely pretty shocked by what happens here in this chunker.
Yeah,
Did you
let's
stream this portion of the game, Johnny?
I didn't. It's probably for
Probably
the best.
for the best.
Yeah, probably for the best. For your channel's sake, anyway.
Mm-hmm. I did stream the end.
We follow the underpants gnomes through the wall, up and through the wall, and eventually we get to our parents' room, and our parents are engaging in they're sexing each other.
They're having
Mate.
marital relations.
Yeah.
My son was with me when I was playing this section,
Oh,
and I gotta
no.
tell, not up until this section, and then I did pause it, and I was like, "You gotta go. You cannot be around for this. I'm not. It's too much."
Even though
It's too
what is
much.
he? Is he 12?
He's 11.
He's 11. Yeah, it's like, I know you know about this stuff, but it's too awkward to play it while you're here.
I mean, it's just
Yeah.
not. I don't think it's appropriate for a kid his age. Like, this is
Yeah.
too graphic. This is like
Yeah.
fucking pornography almost.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, totally.
I'm not watching pornography with my kids. Like, it's just not.
Yeah.
It's not okay. I mean, I'm not. It's not the game's fault. It's my fault for letting him fucking sit in here with me while I played it. You know. But
Yeah.
he's interested in South Park right now, man. Like, I don't know what to say about it. And I happen to be playing this game. He made me watch some episodes with him, which I did do. I have watched some South Park with him. He did one day. I walked out there and he was watching it. I had been playing PUBG, and I walked out into the living room and he had it on, and I was like, "No, you're not gonna binge." Because I know you, I know him. All right, he loves to binge watch shows. All of my kids, all of them, when they have something they want to watch, they fucking watch it. They'll watch it 3 times. He's watched Yu-Gi-Oh's more times. It's ridiculous. Anyway, I was like, I'm not letting you fucking binge watch South Park. All right, I'm not. It's too much for a fucking 11-year-old to have 20 years of shitty libertarian propaganda shoved into his head. Not gonna do it.
Mm-hmm.
Can't do it. Maybe I'll let him watch the movie. I said that like a year ago, and then we got 5 minutes into the movie, and I was like, can't do it!
When my daughter, who's like a year older than your son, got interested in South Park, I kind of curated a set of episodes for her to watch that I knew were not too offensive or awful or like grossly political, and kind of used those as an intro.
So, but did she end up watching all of it?
No.
She only watched it with you?
Yeah.
As far as
Listen.
Jim knows.
Here's my parenting
She might
advice.
have, which is fine, yeah.
That's my intent. As I'm gonna let him.
Yeah.
I'm gonna watch South Park with him sometimes. I'm not gonna. We'll never watch this again. But I'm not letting him watch it alone.
What you gotta do, you go out, you get a copy of Team America World Police, you show that to your kid, and then
that
when
movie
like,
does not hold up. Holy
hey,
shit, does
that
that
movie
not hold
was
up?
this
not good
puppet sex
the day
thing,
it came
is
out.
this what adults actually do in bed? You're like, yep, and then they'll never want to have sex.
I tried watching that
Scar
movie
them
like
for life is what you're saying.
during like the lockdown part of the pandemic, and oh god, it does not hold up at all. Ew.
Listen to the bonus episode for my thoughts on that film. The last bonus episode, the South Park one.
Hey,
Wait, the South Park film?
No, on
about
Team America. I talk about it in the bonus episode.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, I remember I was like away when you talked about it, because I remember you being like, the first time I watched it, I loved it, and then I hated it, and I was like, the first time you watched it, you loved it. It was terrible!
I don't know.
Awful
I
movie.
can't tell you why I loved it, but I did. And I'm not going to pretend I didn't. That would be dishonest.
Sometimes things make you laugh. I got an achievement at this point in the game because I stood on the chest of drawers and watched my parents have sex for a full minute.
Oh, wow. And what's the achievement called?
It's called Pervert.
Yep. All right. Well, write that down in your Vanessa diaries.
And
Pull
they're
them out
very
of the- pull them out
verbal,
of the
which I
fire pit.
appreciate.
Dust them off.
Yeah,
With
very,
the-
very verbal.
With the mom being the dom and the father being the sub.
And
They do
he's
change positions from time to time.
Right,
watch
but
them long enough.
she's in charge of
Oh,
the
yeah.
encounter.
To be clear, you go from the dresser to straight up underneath him while your dad is pounding your mom doggy style.
Yeah.
Her tits will occasionally swing in and smush your enemies.
Yeah, let's say so as the scene opens, we catch up to the underwear gnomes in your parents' room, and you can see your parents having sex in the background, like it's out of focus. And then you chase them until you get to the underpants gnome, like shaman chieftain guy,
The hot bear.
That's kind of the pseudo boss fight for this section. And yeah, it's interrupted by your parents' genitals, your father's nutsack swinging at you that you have to dodge like Neo style from the Matrix, or your mom's big luscious jugs.
It's pretty gross. It's this was kind of funny though. Like this definitely, I was like, Jesus Christ! Like wow, this was pretty unexpected. I did not expect to be fighting gnomes underneath my character's mother's.
I found out that Mike Myers
balls.
shows Hog in Pentaveret later on.
You know, I never finished that.
We all got to see Mike Myers Hog at some point.
Do I?
No.
No.
Only you have to do that only if you're Canadian.
Oh, I see.
Yeah,
Is
it's
that why
the
the kids in the
CanCon
hall
rules.
did what they did?
Yeah,
I'm not
I
Canadian,
guess
but I saw it.
we'll have to see Kim's Convenience's Hogs. Everyone on that. What's that show that's sort of funny? Schitt's Creek, and we'll see all their hogs.
Look, I'm for it. Like, just in general, on principle, we have 70 years of film of boobs flapping around all over the place to make up for. It's going to take a lot of hogs. So
You have to see Gord Downey's hog.
I have to see them all. I have to see them all. And, occasionally you see one because, like, it gets leaked. That's no good. Just do it in a consensual, professional way. But
Yeah, like
whip 'em
Bruce
out.
Willis's hog in not Angel
Well,
Heart. What
I mean,
was
this
that
game
one?
is here for you, right?
game's
Like,
here for
Body of
me.
Evidence. No,
there's
that
a
was
lot of
Willem
hog in this
Dafoe.
game.
There's a lot of hog. It shows me a lot of cartoon hog.
You must have loved all the hog at the end of the game.
I loved it. I was just like losing my mind with happiness. I was so happy.
Was Color
there's-
of Night? Was that Bruce Willis's?
Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah.
It's one of those sexy 90s, like, erotic thrillers.
Erotic thrillers. Yeah,
Oh.
they need to make more of those.
No.
Yeah.
I did love that one I saw with that girl from Heroes and Beyonce. That one was nuts.
Oh, with Ollie Larder
Obsession.
and Beyonce?
Yeah.
I saw that in theaters.
Me too. High five, Jim.
That was such a genre, and the very specific genre that it was is that nobody has a porn machine in their pocket called a phone. So we have to make these essentially pornographic movies.
Yeah. Weren't they fighting over Idris Elba in that movie?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, yeah. What a hunk of beef that guy is.
That's a hog I wouldn't mind to see.
All right, so we defeat the Underpants chieftain, and he, I guess we earn his respect. He gives us a sack of like
Well,
Underpants
he gets crushed
cocaine.
by the dad's balls at the end.
Does he?
Yeah.
Not that.
But
Well, who
then-
gives us a quest? Just
Yeah,
another
he
Underpants
lives.
gnome?
He lives after, but yeah. He does get crushed. Like, that's how he's defeated in the end, is that the dad's balls land on him.
Yeah, it won't kill you to get smacked by some balls.
A lot of balls in this game too.
A lot of balls in this
so
junk.
there is an under gnomes quest, underwear gnomes quest. I didn't finish this quest. Was it fun?
By this point in the game, I had all the Underpants already.
Yeah, me too.
Oh, okay.
I forget what they give you for giving them.
I don't remember, but I will say that at this point in the game, the stuff you get from the Underpants gnomes is pretty powerful. The pickaxe that you get is good, and their armor is pretty good.
It's a cute little costume with a fun little gnome hat.
Yeah.
I immediately went and bought the katana on Matt's
I liked-
recommendation.
Yep.
I liked that you can dye your clothes, because I decided early on to lean into emo new kid and kept like emo hair and black eyeliner the whole time. And I did dye all of my clothes like black. And it was fun, and it was neat that would carry over into like cutscenes and stuff. It was pretty cool.
I always like it when your character shows up in cutscenes with your whatever you're equipped with or look like. Like, that's the best thing about the Saints Row games, is that it has such a good character creator, and then you see your character like be a superhero even if they're a big guy. Oh, that's so good.
So we now have the ability to shrink ourselves
By snorting gnome dust.
by snorting gnome dust. And we have to. So now that we know what the big threat is, which is Clyde, we know that the only way to defeat him is to forge an alliance with the girls to help fill out our ranks.
And the Pirates and the Federation. But you don't have to.
Yeah,
At least
those
the other
don't
two
have quests. Yeah.
At least the other two quests are done by other people.
Yeah. And so our mission is to recruit the girls, so we have to go talk to Annie in front of City Hall. I do like the secrecy of the girls' hideout. Every time we go to meet them, we have to be blindfolded and taken to their hideout.
But you do see where it is in the end.
Yes. Yeah.
Yes. Vanessa, why don't you tell us about the girls' hideout and how realistic it is?
It's super realistic. This is the kind of place that all girls hang out. It is a sort of long conference room with lots of desks and a little podium at the front for the chief officer girls. And it has lots of posters on the wall. There's Corbin Blue is up there. My favorite heartthrob. And Orlando Bloom. And they have a list of enemy girls, like girls that they don't like. And they have a list of the top celebrities.
And best stores.
Best stores. The coolest celebrities. Who's celebrity number one? Johnny Depp.
Oh.
Yeah. I
I'm
did
that
see the Johnny
emoji
Depp
with
one.
the E mouth, which is now my favorite emoji, I think.
Yep,
I do
number one.
like the way that, because like Wendy is presiding over like a court of girls. It's like a formal meeting.
It's like a little, it's like a little court. It's fun.
And instead of saying like yay or nay, they say like sparkle and sunshine. It's just really funny.
Sparkle, sunshine, and glitter.
Yeah.
Yeah, they definitely have like rules of order to their girl club, which is pretty fun. And so it does seem Now, Vanessa, you weren't part of any girl groups or like girlfriend groups as a kid. I remember you saying that.
What do you mean by girl groups? Like, if you're asking me if I was a pussycat doll, no.
No, you didn't hang out with the other girls because you didn't like girl stuff. Remember, you said you were too cool for girl stuff, and they're all two-faced bitches.
She still had her girlfriends, though.
Yeah. Did you guys have meetings over like who was the biggest backstabbing bitch in your your friend group?
Did you research abortion records to see whose mom?
To see who's I'm not going to say it.
Here's my thing about that, and it kind of continues to this day. I don't tend to notice or care about what other people are doing who aren't like my friends and things. So anytime that people would be like, here's some hot goss about so-and-so, I'm like, I don't care what they do, and I don't have an opinion on them. Then they'll be like, oh, she's so rude and stuff. And I'd be like, I've never noticed because I do not care. I don't know if it's a good thing, you know? It's sort of like a obtuse thing sometimes. Like, I tend not to notice if someone is being rude to me because I don't know. I just don't notice. So the things that I wanted to talk to girls about were like Star Trek, politics, occasionally like feminist theory, theater, movies, stuff like that. I'm very pop culture oriented. I like what imaginary people do in fictional worlds, and I don't like what real people do in the real world. And to this day, sometimes someone will be like, what do you know about this person? And I'll be like, I've never heard of them. And they will say, you are Facebook friends with them. You must know them. And I'm like, oh yeah, I guess. It's bad. It's bad.
That's how
I'm
she
bad.
describes me. What she's talking about me.
Yeah, I'm talking about you guys. You always say that I never remember your names or anything about you. And I'm admitting to it. I never remember anyone's name or anything about them. That's me.
Admitting to it does not make it any less
I didn't
rude
say
and
it was
hurtful.
a good thing. Matt, you know I know everything about you. Here we go.
When's my birthday?
Here's the things that I know about Matt. He was born
What's my favorite color?
Matt was born at the end of January. Matt's favorite color is blue.
Hey. That's 2 for 2.
I thought you were going to do it for
I'm
to the
convinced.
I did do it to the beat.
Was I supposed to do it to the beat too? I don't know how to do rhymes.
Did you want more Matt facts? Matt's a co-host of the Square Roots podcast.
That's a true fact. All right. Well, I'm convinced she knows everything about me. 3 facts.
Matt
That's
lives in
more
Florida,
than most
where
people.
it is very hot. Some people like
true.
that Dr. Pepper, but Matt does not.
I like Dr. Pepper just fine.
Damn
Yeah.
it!
I think Dr. Pepper is
You did it on the
gross.
beat, but you got it completely wrong.
Ah, jeez.
So, in conclusion, I think that things like this did happen with girls, but I think that I was more the subject than the talker. You know, I'm sure that there were girls being like, Vanessa's weird.
You were the one they were
She's
investigating.
weird. Yeah, she's a two-faced bitch. I had one girl once say to me in middle school that people thought I was stuck up, and I was like, I don't know what you're talking about. Like, what people? I never talked to anyone. Why would they think anything about me? And then I realized, oh, that's why they think I'm stuck up, because I'm like not making an effort to be anyone's friend. But would you want to be friends with a bunch of middle school girls? I sure didn't. They suck.
I have 2 in my house right now, and you know what? Not pleasant.
Yeah, they suck. And also, this is why, like, when people talk about, oh, you know, so-and-so was like dating a 23-year-old boy. I'm like, I didn't want to date a 23-year-old boy when I was 23, and I sure as hell don't want to date one now. They're just
No, sounds
barely
gross.
out of the suck zone.
Yeah, they're babies. There was a new thing going around that said that your brain is not fully developed until 25. So I think that nobody should be allowed to do anything until they're 25.
No one should do anything. I think what they should do is go to a farm and like
Yeah.
farm and have fun.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want them to be unhappy.
Mm-hmm.
They could go to a farm. They can learn about like whatever they want to learn about. But especially in middle school, you aren't going to retain any information anyway. You have too many chemicals in you. Go to a farm, learn to be kind to animals.
Vanessa and Mao Tsung have similar policies.
So,
This is probably the most involved quest in the game, by the way. Like, this is
Yeah,
all.
it's
Most
long.
of this day is one quest.
yeah.
It's
So
so
the
long that I
girls-
forgot the last two parts of it were even a part of this.
Are angry because someone has been spreading rumors that one of the girls went to an abortion clinic.
Well, that's not the first part, right? The first part is you need to investigate whether you need to dress up as Bebe's boyfriend to learn if
Right.
this girl would hit on Bebe's boyfriend if Bebe wasn't around. And she totally did. She's such a two-face.
Yeah, yes, she did.
Yeah.
And
But
Bebe
as soon as
showed
they
up.
learn that, they immediately say, "But the person that was supposed to tell her you were Bebe's boyfriend didn't tell her that, so she's
Yeah.
the real two-faced bitch."
And then you fight her boyfriend.
Mhm.
The whole joy of this is that the girls are looking for the two-faced bitch in their ranks while being two-faced themselves and setting up all the other
Yes.
girls for tests and traps.
It is sort of like the emo thing where they hammer this one joke over and over and over that they are all two-faced bitches.
Mhm.
I can't remember ever thinking about anybody I knew being two-faced.
I've definitely heard my preteen daughter on the phone with her friends talk, like, they've mentioned people being two-faced before, for sure.
Yeah, see, I think that I'm just like super, I don't know, like socially inept or something. I was not aware that these things were going on.
I just remember it, two-faced being one of those things that was just like a grave insult. Like,
Yeah.
but that's just what people would use, sling it around for fucking anybody. But like everybody was fucking, anybody you didn't like was fucking two-faced.
Yeah, but kids don't
Two-faced
know
piece
what
of
that
shit.
means because
You're
they're
right.
often
That's
like
the thing.
they're
It's
often
like
so
they're
and so
also
is
really.
two-faced. I'm like, no, they're just polite. Like they're nice to your face. They're always nice to my face, but then like they don't want to hang out. It's like, so what?
Yeah, that's pretty normal. I had this.
Two-faced, narc, a lot of stuff like that. That it was like, you're fucking 13. You sound like an idiot.
Yeah. I had this friend who was super two-faced because he was fighting Batman or something.
Yeah.
No,
Oh my
Batman
gosh.
did something and then got acid on half of his face. And so like one side of his face was like real gnarly and the other side was normal.
He was prosecuting a criminal, and the criminal
The mob.
worked for the mob, and the mob wanted to send a message by throwing acid in his face.
Listen, you're talking about Harv, and this is just revisionist history. People called him Two-Faced way before that. That was like his nickname because he'd always like, he'd come in, he was the prosecutor, he'd be like all suave with the suspect. And
That's
be
my
like,
favorite comic
"Hey,
series,
buddy,
the
just
Harvey Dent
cooperate."
series, where you learn the origin of the name Two-Face.
Like, instead of low
true
energy,
origin.
like instead of low energy Joe Biden, he's two-faced Harvey Dent. It's like
Did you guys
political
hear that-
slander.
Did you guys hear that Joe Biden ate ice cream this week? Holy shit, you guys.
What an
Biggest
old,
scandal-
inept bastard.
Biggest scandal of the decade. Joe Biden, 2 scoops in a waffle cone. Wow.
He probably didn't even know
what
where
kind
it
of message
was.
does that send
Yeah.
to Vladimir Putin?
I heard that he had a hard time putting on his coat when he was standing like in the wake of a helicopter. And
Whoa.
yeah, so
What an
this-
unfit jerk.
I heard he got COVID.
Oh, that's the weakest thing ever.
Yeah, only fucking pussies get COVID.
Right.
so glad that these
s-
are the biggest political stories of the week, and there's no
Yeah.
other scandals to talk
Yeah.
about.
I wish Joe Biden would have done what Trump did, is be obviously infected and fighting for his life and remove his mask in front of a crowd of people while struggling to
God.
breathe.
That feels like one of those real struggling to tell fiction from reality moments where like a lot of
Yeah.
people wanted to look at that and be like, look at this strong man, but you can't, you can only see an old dying man
But he's like,
struggling
Struggling to
so
breathe.
hard to breathe. so hard, and it just feels so.
And he's like
pathetic.
caked in makeup to hide his pale complexion because he's near death.
We live
All right,
in
friends.
a nightmare society.
All right,
Let's-
so the next part of this is there's a rumor that this other girl got an abortion. So you need to infiltrate the local abortion clinic and go through their records to find out if that's true. And before you can do that, you got to have a makeover.
Hooray! I love this.
Yay!
This part's great.
They didn't like my style. They only gave me 60,000 points.
Oh, man. If you get up to 100,000 points, you get an achievement, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm going to have to go
I
back
did.
and replay this game.
I mean, they
So this-
clearly approved of and disapproved of some things, and I just
Yeah.
kind of went with the ones they liked.
Yeah.
This game cuts to like, it has like a splash screen that says makeover time on it. And
I
it
love that splash screen, too.
cuts to what looks like a flash animation makeover game like you'd get on like the internets.
Or like your phone.
Yeah, or your
Yeah.
phone or like a Barbie game or something like that.
I remember my daughter having these kinds of games as a little kid on like her little kid tablet.
I mean, I still play Covet Fashion, which is essentially
Yeah.
this game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you get to choose the hair and the shoes and the makeup and the top and the bottom. It's so great.
And the handbag.
And the
or
handbag.
or like a couple of the outfits have handbags on them, I guess.
And then the girls, they watch you and they're like, so cute. You're slaying. Or, are you serious? I don't think it works.
It's really good.
They didn't like my outfit, my makeup. But that's okay, because I didn't care.
I
It
watched
really
you do
doesn't matter.
this.
It's just a little fun little game.
Johnny chose, I would say, the most masculine clothes that he could
Yeah.
in this game.
Seemed like it.
Eventually,
you only wear these clothes for like 5 minutes.
Eventually-
You wear these clothes for the rest of the game. I at least kept on my beautiful makeup for the rest of the game.
eventually, you're able to open up all the treasure chests in this room and get the Valkyrie armor, and I wore that for the rest of the game.
Oh, I
There-
didn't go and do that.
I think the best
It's Red Sonja. It's Red
the-
Sonja armor.
the best long range
Bikini
weapon in the
General.
game is found here, which is like the discus that causes bleed that bounces between enemies, and if you stack it with a bleed patch, it can give everybody 5 bleed in one turn, essentially. So they're
Yeah.
automatically going to die the next time
5
that they do
bleeds
anything.
seem to do about 5,000 damage a turn, by the way.
Yeah.
So, after infiltrate, well, you get inside the abortion clinic dressed as a girl, and they're like, everyone's very supportive and nice, which I assume is like a real abortion clinic. But there's a lot of jokes that didn't land very well about how women frivolously get abortions. That is the
Yeah.
main joke here.
hmm What's funny about that is that nobody actually thinks that and would never use those thoughts to legislate against women's access to reproductive equity and justice.
That's
So-
the thing. It's kind of
Women be
it's
Bortin.
gross.
Right, guys?
Gross.
Ooh.
Women be Bortin.
Ooh.
Oh no, Sinbad's here.
Oh, no.
Some conservative lunatic recently said somewhere that a lot of women will get pregnant intentionally and then get an abortion just to get the feel of it. Just, feel what it's like. That's a cool theory.
It's
Which
cool
this
when
game
an
supports.
entire
Happens.
fucking political movement is based off of people making shit up and never having to prove that they're telling the truth in
Yeah.
any way, shape, or form.
It's cool and it's fun and it's funny. And
Yeah.
and the joke
you're a big
is
fan.
that- yeah, I'm a big fan. Because the joke is that, of course, nobody would actually ever believe this. It's too stupid, and yet... Except I don't know if that actually is the joke. Like, a lot of this seemed malicious enough that I would not be surprised if they were actually anti-choice.
I mean, none of this game seems to portray any female characters in a positive light at any point in time.
That's true.
That is true.
I mean, it does not even try to work in somebody, it's just negative
It's like the
stereotypes. top to
breast
bottom.
cancer
like when
episode.
it's that. Sorry.
The breast cancer episode showed Wendy in a very positive light, like believing in stuff and being, righteously angry at things, and that treated her well. This game does not treat her well.
I mean, they can do it, but this game does not bother with any of them. It just sweeps them all to the side for a sparkle, sunshine, two-faced bitches joke.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's a funny commentary on like young middle school girl culture or grade school girl culture, though. I don't know. It's infantilizing, but it's also has a shade of truth to it.
I guess.
I don't know. Nothing to me about this rang true at all. It felt like a couple of boys writing what they assume girls' friendships are like.
I don't
know. Ironic because girls are often found to be just in general better with mental health and stronger socially because they have close friendships where they talk about emotions.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Emotions are cool.
My friend group was like 50-50 guys and girls, so it was pretty. There wasn't a lot of.
You don't count. You're a gay.
Oh,
By high school, I had about 50-50 girlfriends and male friends and female friends.
Mm. Anyway,
I guess
moving on. So there's so you get inside, and the record room, you have to be dressed like a doctor to get in. So you walk into the abortion room, and the doctor is very nice, but does try to use the hose that they use on your butt, and you have the strongest butt.
Yeah, we smash X to clench our sphincter. We blow the motor out of the procedure machine.
Mm-hmm. And then
so the doctor leaves, and then we steal some scrubs out of the thing, and now we can access the records room.
So am I to believe that this doctor could not tell the difference between the opening to the vaginal canal and an anus?
That does seem to be the joke.
I find that hard to believe.
In the new Alex Garland movie, there's a scene where they are one and the same, and a grown man crawls out of it. Spoiler alert.
What?
What are you talking
no
about?
explanation necessary or required or wanted.
Yeah. I'm not gonna expand on that. Just see the movie Men, directed by Alex Garland.
I'm good. I mean, obviously, this is the joke is, haha, the doctors all don't care. They just poke the needles in and shove the vacuum in.
There was a joke about where the doctor's like, well, you seem to be awful young to be getting an abortion, so here's a booster seat. Ha ha! Ooh, this is Democrats and their healthcare policies.
Do you think this is giving shit to Colorado? Because Colorado is like an abortion sanctuary state?
I think it's, I don't know, like saying, shouldn't we be concerned that kids are having abortions? Yeah, I mean, the fact that kids are getting pregnant is
the problem
real bad.
with kids having abortions isn't the abortion.
Yeah, that's the last part that's problematic.
Yeah,
compared to the other parts. But
all right, so we blow out the machine. I don't want to dwell on this stuff too much.
Right.
Yeah. So
well, we can talk about John's favorite part of the game here, where he got to try to perform an abortion for 24 hours.
Well, there's a couple things that happen first.
Yeah.
We get to the records room,
God
and
forbid we skip by any of this great fucking content.
There's a couple funny things that happen here.
Yeah, walk me through every second of it, please.
So
I want to know
we get to
every line.
Oh my gosh. Fucking deal with it. All right. So we get to the records room. Randy's there. Randy pops out of the ceiling and says that he's investigating the records here too, because he thinks that Taco Bell is hiding something that he has to find. And right now, the Taco Bell security shows up. I love that the government calls themselves Taco Bell security. That's one of the funny things that happens here. There's a great ESRB joke. John, do you want to talk about that?
No.
Where the guy is holding a meter, and he's like, what are you hiding about the abortions? Or what can you tell me about the vaginas of the women in South Park? He's like, oh no, the ESRB is flashing red or something like that. He's holding a machine that he calls the ESRB.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And
Hilarious.
then, yeah. And then, So the other funny part that I did get a little chuckle at is one of the doctors shows up and he's like, "What is going on?" And he's like, "We're Taco Bell security, and we think the Nazi zombie virus has infiltrated your clinic." And the guy's like, "That's offensive. I'm German," and then they shoot him dead.
They're like, he's one of them.
Yeah. All right, and then something very unfunny happens that John did 1,900 times on stream.
Yeah, because you escape through a hole in the wall by using your gnome magic. You get into the other room. Randy is there because he's dressed as a woman getting an abortion because he was investigating the clinic. And then the guy...
For the town council, right? I think?
The PTA.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, the PTA. Then the agents
they meet
step
at the
in.
city council building? Something.
See Randy dressed as a woman with a blanket or a sheet over him, and you dress as a doctor and assume that either you're Nazi zombies or you're about to perform an abortion. So you have to perform an abortion doing a series of QuickTime minigames.
Yeah, this not only... And watching John play it was an experience because this is, I think, in poor taste, this whole sequence. 2, watching John try to perform these actions got to be very frustrating, yet also deeply, deeply hilarious. And 2, failing this has the grossest, worst fail state animation, and it distressed me every time I had to see it. So, like, I simultaneously needed John to get this right, but also it was very funny watching him fail at first. It was very confusing experience.
I actually failed this one several times myself. Like, just over... And the instructions for the vacuum part just did not feel very clear to me.
They didn't make sense, really. Yeah.
And I had people on stream telling me how to do the middle one incorrectly.
A bunch of people told you the opposite of how to do it, yeah.
And stop when Randy says that he can't get any wider.
How many times...
Yeah, I didn't have a problem with that part.
John, how many times do you think you did that dilation minigame?
Well... that section of the 1 minute minigame took me 19 minutes. So I'm going to guess somewhere around like 10 to 15 times.
Yeah.
I'm going to say. It was a lot. And
yeah.
Christmas time is once a year.
Christmas time, 'cause once a year. Holiday.
Yeah, that song.
Big or small, Christmas means so much to us all.
So the Woodlands Animal Christmas song does play as you do it, and I had to hear it so many times because I failed it so many times.
It was at first funny that you were failing it because you were so unhappy to be doing it in the first place.
Mm-hmm.
But then it crushed the threshold between funny
it's one
and
of those.
sad.
It's one of those things that comes around to being funny again.
Yeah, it did.
Especially when I got so frustrated that the needle part, the first section, because I got so mad at the later part.
Watching you do that was maddening. I was like, why can't you do
it? Because for background listeners, I didn't fail this game at all. So in my mind, it was very straightforward and very easy, and I could not understand. Like, I thought you were doing it intentionally.
Yeah, me too.
No, because it's one of those mini games where, like, the hand is swinging, you have to press down at the right time, but the hand, I guess it fakes you out. Yeah, sometimes it does. It looks like it's going to hover, but it doesn't.
Do that, actually, yeah.
It fakes you out.
But, like, to fail this part, you have to miss, like, 4 times.
Yeah, I'm real bad. Okay? Well, you know this. I'm real bad. I was very angry by the end. Like, I was already mad at the scene when it started. And then by the end, I was so mad. So I did it. I got, I guess, poop out of Randy or something. And they were like, they were satisfied.
Yeah, you sucked something out of him.
Yeah, they were satisfied. And then they step out, and then there's a cutscene. I knew it was going to happen, that it was going to be zombie fetuses, but I just skipped it because, I don't know.
It's not worth watching.
It wasn't funny.
Not worth watching. Yeah, it's not funny.
Yeah. So zombie fetuses come out.
That's the whole rest of this sequence, yeah. We have to make our way out of the abortion clinic through a bunch of zombie fetuses who shout German at us. Isn't that funny, guys? Isn't that a
especially the
cool
big
joke?
boss, because Khloe Kardashian was there, and she had the biggest abortion that anyone had ever seen. I don't get that joke. Is it because she's supposed to be a slut?
I feel like it's just a stupid bit of like pop culture, a stupid meaningless pop culture reference.
But like, I don't know very much about the Kardashians, but I've never heard of Khloe in the sense of like being pregnant. Even like,
Isn't she
understand.
the big one though?
I think before she had a bunch of plastic surgery. Yeah. Now they all kind of look.
Oh, is it a fat joke?
They do all look the same. I
don't know. It might have been.
I mean, kind of a mix of like a fat sexist joke, you know?
Yeah.
Pretty gross stuff.
Anyway.
Not really funny. You know, that's kind of the problem with a good chunk of this game is that you're just like getting hammered with these jokes that you're like, I get the joke. It's just not fucking funny.
Yeah. And that's really the greatest sin of comedy, isn't it? When it's just not funny.
Yeah, and when 90% of this isn't funny, it makes for quite a drag.
There's a difference between like hearing a joke over and over and like having to interact with a terrible joke over and over, and that's what this is, and it's kind of even worse.
And this boss, I did do. You know how Vanessa forgot to blow up the shield generator in the last segment's big puzzle boss? I forgot. I didn't realize the umbilical cord was a separate target, and it keeps healing the main thing. So that was my problem with this. But I mean, I still won.
How you like that katana, though? It continues to be the best weapon throughout the rest of the game.
Yeah,
it does stupid damage.
I switched to the vibrator at the end. That was what I finished the game with. Like, there's another vibrator with like a clitoral stimulant thing.
Yeah, I think I stuck
Clitoral
with what
stimulant.
Yeah.
Isn't that what it's
called?
so
Stimulator, I believe, would be the.
Oh.
Yeah. We defeat the Khloe Kardashian's fetus, and we make our way out of the
Vanessa
clinic.
Just lady-splained vibrators to John.
That's fine.
We make our way out of the clinic. We have a paper that we're supposed to get, but oh man, it's in French. The only way to get it translated is to go to the kingdom in the north. And before we can do that, we need to get a passport photo. So off to the photo dojo we go.
Yeah, this
Great
was cool,
jokes
very
about
good.
pedophiles.
Yeah.
Everybody loves jokes. Actually, this is not the worst joke in the game.
I think the pedophile trying to coax you out of your clothes is pretty funny.
You walk in and it's just the guy at the counter, and you get in there and he starts trying to convince you to like take your clothes, and you can tell him no, but he'll continue to pressure you.
I like how he does it because like at first you're like standing there and he's gonna take your photo and he's like, that shirt is just not working for me. Can we change it? And then he's like, no, wait, can we just lose a shirt? And then like the only thing you can eventually say is yes. And then he does the same thing for your pants. He's like, those pants are just not doing it. Can we switch? Or you know what? Just take them off. And the only thing you could say is yes.
Yeah, but then a man bursts through and it's like, you.
Here's the actual photo dojo.
Yeah.
Is it supposed to be like a catch a predator kind of thing?
That's what I
Is that
thought.
What's happening?
The way I interpret it is the pedophile came in and beat up the photo dojo guy so that he could photograph children.
Yeah,
because the photo dojo guy like has a black eye.
I was wondering why he looked so. I thought it was like a Chris Hansen thing, but
me too. And he was just like in the back room. It didn't make any sense.
Yeah.
Anyway, we get our passport photo. We head through the woods to the north.
I did like the secret path to get to Canada through the Lost Woods was first you have to go north, and then north, and then north again,
and then north again,
and then north.
I like the Canadian Mountie who's guarding the border too, because if you leave Canada and then try to go back into Canada, he'll be like, "Show me a passport." Oh wait, never mind.
I wandered around and got up there without the passport originally, and he'll sort of like shuffle back and forth so you can't get past the gate.
Yeah,
he's like, "Nah, you can't do it. Can't get past me."
But when you get to Canada, it's delightful. It's a 2D JRPG.
A real
Looks like a classic Final Fantasy. You move around on a little 2D version of Canada. There are several real Canadian cities like Vancouver and Quebec. And then there are some fake Canadian cities like the Cave of the Widow's Despair and, of course, Banff. Clearly a fake name.
Yeah, everyone's favorite imaginary city.
Game.
It also plays a really slapping song called "Oh Canada,"
in an like 8-bit Game Boy form. That was pretty fun.
Yeah.
Oh no. We're not doing this.
Nope. So
I've watched enough hockey games that I don't need
our.
to hear this song.
It's not a possessive singular. This isn't the United States.
So you make it into Canada and you go meet the Prime Minister, and the Prime Minister tells you
The Prince of Canada.
Okay, you have to get a document translated, and they can't translate it.
Yeah.
Even though it's,
Right.
I think, just in French.
Yeah, it's just in French.
So you
Vanessa,
get
no.
sent to... First you get sent... I don't remember the beginning. You get sent to do something, and then you come
You
back,
have
and
to
they're
go-
like, oh...
You go to the Prince of Canada, and he's like, I will only have this translated for you if you assassinate the Bishop of Banff. Right? Or no.
No,
the
first he's
one
like
you
the-
go to
the
Montreal or
Winnipeg.
Quebec, right?
Yeah, he's like, go to Winnipeg first, and then
Winnipeg, that's
Winnipeg guy's like, oh yeah, this is totally the language they speak elsewhere in Canada, but I
Well,
won't
he
help
says
you
you
with
have
this
to-
until you defeat the Dire Bears.
Yeah, and then he also tells you that the Prince of Canada is holding some guy hostage or prisoner.
Yeah.
And when you defeat the Dire Bears and go back to the prince, he says he'll release the prisoner if you assassinate the Bishop of Banff. Is Banff notoriously religious?
No, it's a
Because
small.
everybody
It's like
here is
Vail,
religious.
Colorado. It's like a small mountain resort town.
Like when you go talk to one of the Banff residents in their house, they're like, "Mind your P's and Q's. We're very religious."
Banff is a religious town.
Well, I mean, Alberta is very conservative, so, that's
Yeah.
part of it, I guess. But no, I don't know. It's a ski town, basically.
John, what did you think of the Banff section? Where you fight the Bishop of Banff?
Well, it was fine. You have to assault him because he's just praising Jesus and Christ and Jesus and Christ.
praise God, praise Christ. Praise God and Christ.
So you assault him, and then when he's about to die, he's like, give the prince these animal balls instead of
pig
my
testicles.
balls. And I was like, nah, I'll take your real one. So I killed him.
Oh, see, I took the pig testicles.
Well,
As
you know
did
why
I.
I didn't? Because I'm Canadian. I'm not going to go against the rulings of the Prince of Canada.
That's true.
And I did like that the Princess of Canada communicated via farts. The Prince of Canada did
Those
look... It was
are
basically
actually
Prince Harry.
queefs, John.
I don't know why it was Prince Harry, but that was not his wife because they hadn't been married in 2014.
Well, there's an episode of South Park that's all based around the Prince of Canada getting married.
Oh,
And
okay.
yeah, during the wedding, the princess gets kidnapped, and Ike and Scott the Dick and a couple other Canadians have to go rescue her.
I do like Scott. It's one of my favorite South Park characters because he doesn't like Terrence and Phillip. So you bring those back, and then why do they send you to Vancouver?
The princess sends you to Vancouver because she's like, the prince is like, I'm not going to release the guy. You suck. Get out of here. And the princess is like, I can help you. You have to go to the governor of Vancouver.
That's right.
Yeah, and the governor says that there's something you have to fight, right?
No,
but the only
you
way
have to go to
the
the
only
monks.
Yeah, there's 2 monks living on an island here. I like the little boat animation of you crossing
Yeah,
the
that's cute.
stream to the island. That's straight out of Chrono Trigger. Even the sound effects are the boat from Chrono Trigger when you have to take the little boat,
Your
the little
sprite
steamboat.
turns into a little boat. It's cute.
Yes, and I like that it does it for your companion too.
Mm-hmm.
Good stuff.
Yep. So
and then
you
we go see the monks.
and it's
yeah,
Terrence
the
and
monks
Philip.
the monks are going to teach us a secret power that we need in order to release the princess prisoner. And yes, Terrence and Philip, and they teach us the Nagasaki fart.
That blows up large
and
objects.
in a kind of funny Matrix reference.
Wow, a Matrix parody in 2014.
I know, right?
Oof.
It still kind of worked for me, though. I don't
It
know.
was
Like
too,
it was.
too late in Shrek, and that was 2001.
Yeah. I don't know. I kind of liked it. Yeah, I don't know.
All right. Well, that's
it
fine.
made me laugh as well. Like I was delighted to see Terrence and Philip. I kind of forgot they existed for a while, and let me ask you a question. Are Terrence and Philip supposed to be the kids in the hall?
No.
There's
don't
only
think
two
so.
of them.
No,
They
because
They
in
don't take
the
their clothes off.
in the show they're not even like when Terrence and Philip first start out, they're not even real people. It's a cartoon. Like in the show it's a cartoon. And then eventually they're just like, "Oh, they're real people now."
I thought they were like hand puppets for some reason.
They kind of look like.
Anyway.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
They teach you the final fart, and it's called the Nagasaki.
Yeah.
And it is a big fart.
And it's just a big fart. Yeah.
Hey, this one I
So you don't
managed
go
to
to
do
Montreal.
on the first try.
You don't go to Montreal in this game. You go to
I
the
know.
cave.
I was surprised by that too.
Johnny was excited to go to Montreal too. He's like, I'm going
Yeah.
to my hometown. No, he's
But
not.
you go to this cave, and then in this cave is a French speaker speaking the worst fake. Well, it's real French, but it's so badly pronounced.
I will
it's
say that
awful.
the fight, like in order to reach him, you have to fight 3 of the snakes, 3 of the dire wolves, and 3 of the dire bears, and it's kind of not an easy fight. This is, I think, more targets than you'll get in any battle in the game.
Yeah, I think this was the hardest fight in the game for me. Maybe. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think it was because I died at least once. I think just once, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty tough. But yeah, you defeat these things.
oh no, I didn't die
He-
because I had the revive patch on, which I
Oh,
recommend.
right, yeah. And so we get the document translated, and we get to go back to South Park.
Hooray!
What a fun Canadian John.
Hooray.
You can also
Oh,
go find a spider's nest in the north.
I did do
and
that.
Oh, that's one of the big game hunter quests.
Mhm.
do
You have to
spider
leave
fight.
Putin
I
for the
one-shot
spider.
the spider fight.
Yeah.
I one-shot the spider, and it was very satisfying.
Yeah.
I did from that last boss fight get dire AIDS, a joke where you have the condition. I don't know what it does, but you can get it healed at the hospital. And then they're like, okay, you no longer have dire AIDS, but you do still have regular AIDS, like Magic Johnson AIDS. And I was like, fuck you guys. This isn't fucking funny.
That's real bad. I didn't like that.
Yeah.
either.
You know, I think AIDS jokes are the most straight guy thing, and it always reminds me of Heathers, where Christian Slater defends killing these 2 jocks because all they had to bring to the world were date rape and AIDS jokes. Good old Heathers.
How do you feel about Heathers the musical?
I don't really like musicals that much. I listened to a song from Heathers the Musical because it showed up on the Scoots playlist.
Not
yeah.
from me. I've never listened to it.
It's my
Well,
daughter.
it seemed to say it was for you.
They used my Spotify account.
Oh, okay. So I guess it was from Matthew. Sorry. I
The
assumed it
songs
was
from
Vanessa.
Danganronpa were also from Matt, or it wasn't Danganronpa. What was the game that Haley was obsessed with before that?
The one that we played.
No Kumi. No, what's it called?
No.
It's called.
The dating
Genshin
sim.
Impact.
No, the
No.
one with the dog.
Doki.
Doki
Yeah, Doki
Doki
Doki.
Club.
Yeah. All right.
I
So we
was
go
cleaning my
back to
daughter's
Canada.
room the other day and found her copy of Doki Doki Literature Club for the PS4.
Oh wow.
Did you confiscate it and say, "What the hell are you doing with this"?
No, I like playing that game with her.
I know.
So
that
you,
would have been pretty funny.
Go to
I learned it from watching you.
you go back to the girls' club, and they analyze the records and realize that it was in fact one of the girls from the group who was the two-faced bitch. And then they're like, but she's apologized, so we're friends again.
I did think that was pretty funny.
Oh yeah,
So now
this is where you can get the Valkyrie armor, which is just
Yes.
like chainmail bikini armor, but is fantastic.
Yeah.
I
And
regret not getting it.
And that great long range weapon that basically gives a death sentence to every enemy on the screen.
I thought I got that weapon somewhere else in the abortion.
There's one
clinic or
here
something.
too.
Oh, okay. Oh, maybe it's a better one. Anyway, so we then get the girls' help. So we go back to Kyle, and they've. Meanwhile, Stan has brought the pirates and the Federation along with them, and everyone assembles in front of Clyde's
Oh yeah,
house.
you can't use Stan throughout this because he's doing his own thing. I used Cartman and Kyle here. Kyle was not great. Cartman actually was pretty handy and had some good jokes.
I would
at one
use
point
everyone...
in Canada, I got in a fight, and Cartman was like, "You've gotten in enough fights, dude." And I was like, "I know."
There's an attack. There's like a magic attack that Cartman does where he like charges himself up by saying curse words.
Yeah.
And one of the curse words that he charged himself up with is Christians, which I thought was really funny.
Yeah, that's straight from the South Park movie. He also has a good, they've got that extra thing they can always do, and his throw a maxi pad at you and yell a lightning bolt, and it grosses the enemy out is pretty handy.
That's a
I thought
LARPing
it did
joke.
make me laugh. It's a pretty good one. Like, lightning bolt. I don't know why it's a tampon, but you know what? It was funny. Or it's a maxi pad or whatever, but it was fucking funny. Whatever.
So, now it's just a boss climb to the finish. I was like, oh, finally, one last dungeon. Nothing's going to interrupt this. It's not going to Final Fantasy VII Remake some extra dungeon.
No, there's no other things here. We just go up the tower, and it's great fun, and nothing else happens.
Oh, we do
Yeah,
have
We
that.
get to the top, and we beat up Clyde.
Yeah,
There is
that's
the
it.
one sort of interruption.
So
it's
I
his,
don't
like-
remember. I don't remember this.
Oh, it's not Clyde, but it's Clyde's like little sidekick or something. I can't remember his name, but he
Clive.
tries to. Is
It's
it
Clyde and Clive, and it's
Oh,
confusing
okay.
as fuck.
That's why. I
And
was
they look
confused.
alike.
So
And they look
he's-
alike.
Yeah, he tries to release some zombie cows on you.
Yeah.
But you can use some environmental things while he's turning the release lever to let Ike and Stan in, I believe, and
Yep.
they will take care of 2 of the 3 cows for you, which is nice.
Yeah, and I one hit killed that cow, so it was fine. And
That's the
then
It
only
you
got
get
thing
too
that
slow,
happened.
and I had to fight them
Yeah.
all, and it was tough. Actually, it wasn't tough. Nothing in this game is tough. I did not die once. I died once early in the game because I was not paying attention. I had to fight all these cows, and I was annoyed. Like, I only used one summon this whole game. I used Mr. Hanky to wipe. I don't remember where it was, but I was just like, I just don't care about this. Just fucking kill these people. But then for the rest of this chunker, I held on to my other 2 summons. Why? And then at the end, it's just a boss run, and I was like, fuck me. Like,
I
too
didn't
late.
use any summons in my entire playthrough, actually.
I used them all before this because I figured that they wouldn't be useful in the end. So go me. So you get past him, and then you get interrupted by Randy saying that there's a nuclear bomb here that Taco Bell
They
has put
keep
in.
calling it a snook, and I don't understand.
I didn't get that joke.
A sneaky
It's
nuke, I guess.
Yeah, and they put it inside someone's womb or something.
At
but
the clinic.
Yeah,
I assumed it was going to
turns
be
out
Randy.
That
but
it's
it's way worse.
Mr. Slave.
They get to jam in their great animals that died in Mr. Slave's ass jokes here.
Yeah,
The
I
love,
remember liking that
these
Lummy
jokes.
Winks episode.
I hated it, man. This was
back in the
definitely in the turning point era where I was like, why the fuck am I watching this? It's fucking awful.
I just liked it because it was sort of like the Hobbit stuff. Like, it reminded me of the Hobbit movie back, like the old
Yeah, that's
animated
very
one.
intentional. Yeah, it's very intentional. And you would think, I love those, so you would think that that would work for me, but it does not, because it is just
But
fucking...
now I've come around to Matthew's way of thinking, because I was like, oh, it's Lemmy Winks. I like Lemmy Winks. And then the game ends us. They say like over and over. It's like, I just started getting fuming mad.
Get a mini dungeon
at
here.
it.
You have to shrink down to gnome size and crawl in Mr. Slave's ass.
Okay, the
and you
one
have
good
to-
joke was, who here could shrink very small and perform an abortion. First, and Vanessa could hear it in my voice when I realized that I was going to have to do this abortion minigame again.
He was
although
like,
I
no.
Yeah, it does
That
make you do
was-
it one more time at the end here.
Yeah, but
Crawling
at least I
through
knew how to
Mr.
do it.
Slave's
I
colon
practiced.
is definitely... John had practiced. Going through Mr. Slave's colon is definitely knocking a bunch of cum out of your way and climbing over chunks of shit.
And diseases because he's gay. There's microbes and stuff.
Well, there's
isn't that
bacteria.
hilarious?
I
Yeah.
think there's bacteria in everybody's colon. I don't think that's
it
a gay joke.
It seemed a gay joke, but maybe that's just
Yeah,
me.
it's funny because gay men
Maybe.
put everything
You're
in
probably
their
right.
butt, just like
Yeah.
straight men put their dick
Yeah.
into everything. Like,
He definitely has, on top of a nuclear device, like, I don't know, morphed into his body. He's also got, like, old vibrators, and there's dead animals, and there's rats.
Flashlight, a bat.
There's a
Mr.
flashlight that
Hat.
you have to use on a bat.
Mr. Hat's in there.
I actually did
I
get
like
a
that
laugh
you
out
get a
of
friend
getting the
request from Mr.
That
Hat.
was weird. It was so unexpected. I was like, what just happened? But, yep, it's all pretty gross. It's all, and you know, I just don't, listen, gang, this is just a me thing. I don't like an inside body stuff. I just don't like it. I don't like it. Doesn't have, not just the colon, any of it. I mean, when you
No
shrink down to a
internals
certain
from that.
size, I'm okay with, like, what's that great 80s movie where they all shrink down? Not the serious one, the funny one, with the Russian spy.
Inner Space?
Inner Space with Martin
Like,
Short.
Honey, I Shrunk
When
the
it's like
Kids?
blood cell levels, it's okay. But like when you're crawling around in people's organs, like I'm just not here for it. It's not fun.
You didn't like
Well,
Osmosis Jones?
Nope, did not. And I did not like the original stuff with this, and I don't like any of it. Did not like the jokes. I did not like finding a vibrator in his asshole. In his colon. I did not like having to perform an abortion on a snook to end this fucking dungeon.
there's a boss fight in here too against the like Bird King boss that was somewhat difficult for me because it's resistant to bleed, and that was my strategy.
me
was
too.
making everything bleed. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's a ghost. You also do run across two like FBI agents in here, and you do get to listen to them complain about all of the terrible jobs they get, and it's not funny, but at least I was like, yeah, okay, like this is pretty terrible.
So you encounter the three spirits inside, you fight the bird one, you go and you perform an abortion on the nuke. Okay, so I wasn't sure if that was really GLaDOS's voice or they were just making the most ham-fisted Portal reference
I didn't
ever.
even pick it up. I didn't even pick up on it. So
I noticed
that's-
it, but
I just
let me-
didn't notice it.
I think it might have been the voice actress from,
I think
Portal.
it is.
I was blown through the end of this game, and I
but
was
it
not
wasn't
paying
fun.
attention
It
to
wasn't a
this
good
part.
reference. I love the GLaDOS.
Oh, it's
She's-
just a good impression.
okay. But this was not funny.
No.
Worst misuse
You
of
disarm the
GLaDOS
nuke,
ever.
and then Mr. Slave coughs you out, which is gross. And then you continue up the tower to face Clyde.
I haven't been as mad about a right at the end extra dungeon since the end of Final Fantasy VII R, which has, I think, 3 extra dungeons right at the end that
it's a
were
little weird,
pointless.
Yeah.
There's
That
also
game
some
could have been
mini games there.
20 hours shorter and would have been much better.
Yep. What's the fight with Clyde? I don't really remember.
He
you fight Clyde.
resurrects Chef.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
right,
he
Resurrect
resurrects
Chef.
Chef.
We gotta squeeze in some making fun of that guy because he became a Scientologist jokes. Is that the story? I don't quite remember.
Yeah, he
I
quit
remember
the
that by
show.
the
He-
time they were cutting him out, I was like, I hate
Wasn't
this
he
show.
So
dead by
Isaac
this
Hayes, Isaac Hayes quit the show when they made the Scientology episode and died shortly after. They did
already
make
died.
one more episode with Chef in it, but all of his dialogue was made using previously recorded
Like this
dialogue
one,
from Chef. Yeah, and the whole storyline was that Chef had, well, this was before he died, but after he left the show, they did an episode with Chef where Chef joined a new club, quote unquote club.
That's right.
It's referencing Scientology, but the club in the thing was a group of adventurers who were actually pedophiles.
wow.
And they had to convince Chef to leave the club, and they couldn't, and he died at the end.
Mm-hmm.
And then they brought him back. I remember them bringing him back as a Nazi at one point.
Oh,
After
really?
that.
And Crispin Glover.
Did I say
I'm
Nazi
surprised they,
as a zombie?
Oh.
They use voice
This zombie
clips from
chef
him,
thing is not new.
Mm-hmm.
but Crispin Glover won, I believe, a lawsuit against Back to the Future because they used clips of him without paying him again. So I'm kind of surprised they could get away with using Isaac Hayes' performance without his permission.
Maybe they paid royalties. I don't know.
I don't know. So you do.
I don't know that that's how that works. I don't know that you get to just continue paying royalties when the person is dead. You just get to be like, yep, we still get to use it.
Yeah,
it's
the
ours
estate
forever.
It goes to the estate, yeah.
Well, I understand that you could pay the estate, but I believe wouldn't they have to agree to that?
Yes, they would.
Would depend on their contract, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
Anyway, this always felt tasteless to me, and now you get to fight Chef, and you fight him and kill him.
And this sucked. Like, it was just early South Park reference humor that was like, okay, chocolate salty balls.
Yeah, it wasn't
It's not
good.
funny anymore. It wasn't funny back then.
And then he starts speaking Hitler.
Mm-hmm.
Well, so there is a couple points in the fight where after you drain enough of his HP, he will go grab your character, and there's a couple QTEs where you have to punch him, and eventually you punch him, and he returns back to his old self, and then Clyde just pumps him full of more Nazi zombie chemicals, and he's a zombie again, and that happens once or twice until you beat him totally. With
only
one
happened
of
once for
Cartman's
me.
farts, or one of your farts.
It only happened once for me, so I'm glad that it did not repeat because I didn't think it was
it's
terrible.
a one cycle
he
for
comes,
me too. Yeah.
He comes back around and he's like, "Hey, I'm back." And then, what is it? You fart? Do you fart?
No,
probably
Cartman
fart.
pushed. Well, I guess after. No, I don't know.
No, it's
yeah,
Clyde.
I think
Clyde just throws like a Molotov cocktail.
Oh, yeah. Clyde sets him on fire, and then you do fart
right.
to like incinerate him.
Detonate him, yeah.
Yeah. So then afterwards, Cartman pushes Clyde off the treehouse. He gets a Disney death, and the cruelest woman in the world, Vanessa, does say, "Oh, you did it! You won the game." And I was like, "Oh, thanks God, thank God."
Yeah,
But
I
no,
thought I was
there's
done here too, and
one
it's really disappointing.
more boss fight. So you get out.
Okay, so here is the best part of this chunker.
Mm-hmm.
After all of this, Jim, tell us about what happens.
So we finally recover the stick, and right as we do, the government shows up, Taco Bell security, along with the kind of like boomer chief of this security unit, and he takes a hold of the stick. Well,
God.
first he confronts your character,
Yep.
and
He's
and
just calling you
he's like
Dovahkiin and
he's like,
Dragonborn.
we've been looking for you, Dovahkiin, and you get
The Dragonborn.
yeah, and you say
This did make me laugh.
you learn that your special power is not your ass; it's your ability to make Facebook friends quicker than anyone on Earth. And I like that the guy says something like, before he was 5 years old, he had 13 billion friends on Facebook. And then
He does, hang on, he does try to explain the origins of his organization, and some of the sharpest jokes in the game here with Cartman and the rest of the kids literally just being like, "Shut up.
Yeah.
We don't care."
Yeah.
He's
There's-
like, a UFO crashed Roswell, New Mexico.
And they're like,
Cartman's like, no.
I love that. That's a reference to the first Towley episode where they get the noon and they call it it's a something
their
game
console.
sphere in the show, and it gets stolen by the government, and every time they get a lead and they go to meet like a character that's involved in this nefarious plot, they dump a bunch of exposition, and all the kids are like, we don't care, we want our game back.
So in this case, they want the stick, and they're like, give us the stick, give us the stick. And he's like, why do you want this stick so badly? And they say, oh, whoever has the stick controls all of the universe. And the guy is like, controls all the universe, but I have the stick.
He immediately goes mad with power.
He immediately goes mad with power and strips his clothes off.
Yeah.
Like he's fully naked with his gray bush.
With his gray bush and his
Like, I
little
can do whatever
penis
I
and
want.
old wrinkly balls. And he continues to be naked throughout the rest of
And
the
he's
end
like
of this game.
running around, like laughing maniacally with the stick in his hand, and he's like,
This all really fucking made me laugh. Like, and the best part of it all is that it is just a fucking stick.
yeah.
It's just
but
a stick.
he doesn't know how to use it. He can't get it to work, so he's like,
Weird.
he's like, teach me how to use the stick, and we can rule together.
Yeah,
and everyone's
join us,
like,
Dovahkiin.
yeah, and everyone's like, no, we're not going to do that.
They
and
do
then
a little speech about friendship. They're like,
Yes.
friendship means more to us than the stick, because the real point of the game is being together and da-da-da.
yeah, and then you get the ultimate betrayal.
Ugh.
Princess Kenny joins him to rule the universe.
He then explains his backstory, which is that Princess Kenny was born a
Kenny
half-orc.
does not explain his backstory. Morgan
Freeman
Freeman
does.
steps out of the shadows to explain his backstory.
It's funny when you say it. When I was playing the game, I sighed so hard when Morgan Freeman stepped in.
It's kind
out
of like an
shadows.
old meme at this point, but I could see that being funny when the game came out, maybe.
Because they're like, why did this happen? And Morgan Freeman steps out and goes, why did this happen? Let me tell you.
Yeah.
Princess Kenny was born a half-orc
Mm-hmm.
and was shunned by society and vowed to take revenge on elves and humans.
But she's the
And-
true heir to the stick of truth.
Yeah, I don't remember why she was he also explained something about Kenny's parents.
Kenny's dad was an elf who was like the Prince of Zaron, and his mom was an orc, and they loved in secret.
And Kenny is the true heir. Princess Kenny is the true heir to the Stick of Truth. And that's pretty great. Also, we did leave out one joke, which is that they rank you up after you defeat Chef from Commander Douchebag to King Douchebag, and they do give you a sweet crown.
Mm-hmm.
So, I liked King Douchebag versus Princess Kenny. It was pretty funny.
I do like that after they call you King Douchebag in front of the FBI guy, he's like, King Douchebag, is that what you're calling yourself these days?
But no, he's like, is that what you're calling yourself these days, Dovahkiin?
God. Between the joke that they really never actually fucking say, which really I think it's the cleverest joke in the game. They never say outright that it's just a stick, but it's just a stick. It does nothing. It never does a thing. Between that and the man just fucking stripping nude the minute he thinks he's and then he's there. So this final fight's kind of fun. Cartman, I don't know if it's the same for all of you. Cartman refuses to participate. He's like, I'm too tired, and he's just standing off to the side. And you fight Princess Kenny, and you can kill him, and he'll drink the Nazi zombie alien goo and make himself Nazi zombie Princess Kenny.
Whoa.
And
Big
then you
step
can
back.
kill him over and
Because
over again. Big step back.
Before this fight, we get probably my favorite part of the game, which I have since learned is just lifted straight from the show. A beautiful anime cutscene of Princess Kenny.
So
It is a
good.
straight up. It's like an intro to an anime, but it's all. You know what? I feel like when it was done in the show, they did like actual like anime looking characters, but in this they just do like chibi South Park characters,
Yeah,
and
it's like a
so
chibi
funny.
Princess Kenny.
It's only Princess Kenny
And
and
the song
Princess
is like,
Kenny's unicorn.
Princess Kenny, why?
This is some of the best stuff in the game. Which was nice after the slog it took to get here, because I thought Canada was a funny joke that went on too long, and then all of the shit that led up through that with the Mr. Slave and all that, I was ready to throw my fucking controller down, and thankfully it did manage to redeem itself some at the end here with all of this. Yeah.
And there's like rainbows and everything. It's wonderful.
Princess Kenny has like 3 attacks. One is a rainbow attack. One is a rat attack where a bunch of rats attack you. And one is where he sends his magic unicorn to attack you. So I don't know exactly how this is supposed to work. For me, you can keep killing him, but what you really are trying to accomplish, I think, was him using his special attack on your companion, and then it gives you a QTE, and then your companion will kind of wander off and go hang out with Cartman. And I got through like 3 of them, and then the fight and then I killed Kenny again, and it was over.
Yeah,
I don't know if it was supposed to keep going, or if I just
allies.
accidentally killed him too many times. I didn't cycle through all of them though. Or maybe I did. I didn't go
You
through
do.
Kyle. I did not get Kyle at all.
What
I
is
got
Kyle's?
Stan. I got Jimmy.
Stan
and I got
cuts the
Butters.
head off the unicorn. Jimmy uses
does
his
the
flute
rats.
to lure away the rats.
So I guess that's it. So you get 3, because then the last one will attack him with the rainbow attack, right? And that's the end? Or you
What's-
just kill him?
Butters gets
Butters
death.
has something, right?
Death comes, and then Butters turns into Professor Chaos and is like, "Death is the servant of chaos." And
Oh, yeah,
weird.
that's right.
I didn't get that. I did not get that.
I don't remember Kyle's though.
Kyle throws Ike, and then Ike wanders off, and he follows. Ike, I
Oh,
think.
that's right. Yeah.
So you can cycle through more than one? Did I just fuck it up a couple of times? I did
don't
fuck it up
know.
a couple
I
of
think you
times.
probably did get all of them, because when Johnny was doing it,
I definitely
he
did not. I
had-
did it today, Vanessa. I know that I did not get Kenny, and I never got the end of Butters. I had Butters in my party at the end, and then I killed Kenny again, and it was just like over. It just ended. And I was surprised, because I was like, I thought I would cycle through everybody. I definitely did not.
but you also think
I mean,
that
I
you don't
played it
regain your
today.
health in between.
I was just gonna
battles.
say that. I was like, is this like when your HP doesn't heal after every fight?
Your HP does not heal after every fight at the beginning of the game. At the end of the game, your HP slowly refills after healing.
No.
After a battle. Yes. I watched it happen. I watched my fucking HP meter slowly tick up in my fucking menu after battles. I mean, you can say no all you want, but I watched it happen.
It's true. It's true. That is, you do refill,
But,
but
like,
not
I can't-
Oh,
instantaneous.
so maybe Vanessa's the one that doesn't know what she's fucking
No,
talking
but like
about.
I
huh?
can't imagine a scenario where you
Man.
would get into a fight before that
Assholes.
thing fills up, because it fills
It's
up in
happened to
like
me
a second and a
couple
half.
of times in Canada.
What?
For sure.
I was always
Wow.
full health every battle.
Yeah, me too.
You
Oh,
just didn't
it-
look,
it-
and I
it-
looked, and you made fun of me for being wrong, even though I looked, and you didn't look. Bang! Matt wins this episode of South Park.
Well, no, you said last time that you don't regain health, and you do, but it does take like 5 seconds.
You're right. You're absolutely right. I was wrong initially. But I did play this today on lunch, on my lunch break, and I definitely did not cycle through all the
But
characters.
I watched Johnny play it today, and at one point, Kenny got
But I biffed
stuck.
a couple of them.
Listen to me. Let me finish my thought. In Johnny's playthrough, Kenny got stuck on 1 health point until he cycled through a couple allies.
Mm-hmm.
That happened.
That
to
happened to
me.
me.
too.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
That's all I wanted to say.
All right, so we eventually, Cartman's like, "Oh, we can't
Oh,
defeat
you know what
him."
killed Kenny for me? 5,000 bleeding damage.
Yeah.
For me, it was he kept coming back, and then there's a cutscene saying we can't kill Kenny unless you do the forbidden
Yes,
thing.
that's right.
Unless you
This-
break the gentleman's code.
Listen, I think I already said this in this episode, but I'll say it again. This joke did not make me laugh fucking once throughout this game. But it did, they fucking got me at the end, because it finally paid off. And
Yeah.
even though the farting on Kenny's balls itself isn't that funny, just the fact that the whole goddamn game kept making this, it all was for this, actually, I did appreciate it. Like, I was like, this is a good payoff.
Mm-hmm.
So,
I
Cartman
made a
runs behind
choice
Kenny.
here.
Go ahead.
Oh yeah.
What
'cause
choice
they
did you
tell
make?
you have to break the gentleman's code and fart on his balls, and I thought, there's no way I'm going to do that. I will never break the gentleman's
Wow.
code. So I decided to not do it and see what happens.
What happened?
And what happened?
was Kenny killed me, and I had to do this fight again.
Oh no!
Yeah, Kenny just insta kills you if you don't fart
That's
on
a bummer.
his balls.
Yeah. So you fart on Kenny's balls, and there's a huge
Eric-
flash of light.
Yeah, Eric runs behind him and grabs him under the arms
Yeah.
and lifts him up in a way where his legs are pointing up so you can aim your fart up his skirt. I shouldn't be saying he, up her skirt, up Princess Kenny's skirt. and there is a big flash of white.
Yeah, you get the whole. This is like my favorite part of this joke, where the whole screen flashes white, and it cuts to the townspeople, who are all zombies at this point, get miraculously healed, and a little boy says, "Daddy, we're all right." And the father kneels down to his son and was like, "Yes, a Dovahkiin must have farted on a princess's balls." That's cracked me up.
Yeah. Yep, that one fucking got me. Like, it was just so goddamn bizarre. It really good jokes. There were some good jokes in this.
I thought the ending after this was kind of abrupt, because I think it cuts from here out right to Stark's Pond, where the group decide that the stick is way too powerful, and they decide to throw it into Stark's Pond.
Mm-hmm. I guess the government guy just goes away because he was.
Yeah, he just goes away.
He stands there through the whole fight. With his dick and balls out, cheering on Princess Kenny and saying
he doesn't really
like,
do much.
Well, he says things like, "Your magic is so beautiful,"
and like hit him with your zombie vomit.
Yeah, he would direct him to use certain attacks, but he didn't seem to do much really. This at the end of the game here, you throw the stick in the lake, and then you finally get to have your character speak. Now, did anybody choose not to speak here?
No, I wish I had.
Yeah, me too.
I spoke.
You finally hear your character speak. You choose to. It gives you the option to finally speak by hitting A. And your character looks at the South Park gang and says, "Screw you guys, I'm going home." And leaves.
And they call you a dick.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they call you a dick.
Roll credits.
Roll credits.
I sat through the credits. I thought there might be like an after credit thing, but then I realized that it just lets you wander around the world, and I was like, what's the fucking point of this? I don't care. And I turned it off.
Well, you can finish up all the side quests that you want. You can go
thank
talk
you.
to your friends. I did that a little bit. I went to Cartman's, and Princess Kenny was there, and Cartman said that Princess Kenny said that it was all just PMS. So that was a fun extra joke.
So what'd you guys think of South Park: The Stick of Truth? Squarely against? What's the verdict here?
I mean, do we not have any bullshit minigames, John?
We talked about the abortion one.
Yeah.
We talked about
there
the
was
makeover.
The makeover. Yeah, I don't think I have anything to add. No.
Do we have any side quests we haven't touched on that we want to talk about? Man Bear Pig. I killed the Man Bear Pig, and it gave me like a wand with a man bear paw on it. It was pretty good. I used that a lot.
Yeah, I had that for a while. He shows up at the end after you tell them screw you and walk away.
There's a little stinger where he pops out of a tree.
It's not even a stinger. It's just like it's in
you get like a musical sting.
He's just there, and he's like, "Oi."
You kill or you beat up Al Gore, which is hilarious because he's like, "Oh, you didn't listen to me. It's true about the climate." Like, I got mad at the game. I was literally.
You were
literally yelling at the game.
I made what I thought was a really funny joke in John's stream, where I think the game made a reference to the war in Iraq, and John's like, "Oh, isn't the war in Iraq funny?" And I commented in John's stream, I was like, "What if Iraq farted? I'm a South Park writer."
Yeah, and then after you fight Al Gore, he has like a room that's mocked up like the Oval Office, and he keeps saying things like, "I was almost sort of vice president." And it's like, he was the vice president, and as we've talked about on the show, he probably won the election.
Yeah, until the
Bush.
Supreme Court said that he didn't.
Well, the Supreme Court basically said, like, we have to settle this now, but I think that once all the votes were actually counted, Gore did get more votes.
Yeah. Those hanging chads were too hard to count, Supreme Court said.
Count. It's too hard. It's really confusing, and if the guy who was running the election was, like, a good friend of Bush's brother, that's nothing to worry about. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, don't worry about it. So back to my question. What'd you guys think of Stick of Truth?
Oh, are we roundly for or squarely against it?
We are.
I'll go first. Squarely against. I did not enjoy this game. There were moments of good, funny stuff. And the game design is certainly very strong in a lot of respects, but it was a chore for me to play. Like, I don't have anything more negative really to say, but I don't have anything more positive to say. Like, it's South Park, so you know what you're getting in for here. Like, as offensive as it is, it's South Park. That's what it's going to be, I guess. I don't know. But it, like Vanessa said, it commits the worst sin of comedy. It's just not that fucking funny most of the time. And the chore of playing between the occasional thing that made me laugh was not a good time. I barely finished this game. I almost decided to say fuck this and not finish it. Straight up. Because it was not fun, and I did not have a good time. Squarely against Johnny! You know what? Let's break it up. Jimmy!
It's hard. Like, I don't like much of the humor in this game, but I also think it's kind of fun to play.
You are responsible, Jim, and I think
I am responsible. I did nominate this game. Yeah, no, I've played this game a bunch of times, and there are parts of it I enjoy and parts of it that I'm like embarrassed to even play. Like, I'm embarrassed sitting in my own home playing it. They're so bad. But like it's so easy, and I don't know. It's annoying, and it can feel like a chore, but also I think it's kind of fun. So it's like a soft recommend, kind of, I guess, maybe. Vanessa, how do you feel about it?
I could not and would not recommend this game for anybody. Johnny,
other than a Vanessa.
Yes? What?
Other than a Vanessa, I said. Vanessa, you finished this game in 2 days, and you then played the sequel.
Yeah.
And pre-ordered the next one.
That's not true. You got 2 out of 3 truths.
And started modding the R South Park on Reddit.
R South Park, the Stick of Truth 2022 Trump.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
I run the official Stick of Truth account on Truth social media.
She admins a Discord.
Yeah.
A lot of politics. I'm sorry, I don't want to interrupt. A lot of politics this episode because we're dancing around talking about politics. Vanessa.
Yes, because we're recording this on August 12th, 2022. Put that in your time capsule. Future listeners, write in. Let us know what happens. So I liked to play it. There were some parts that I really enjoyed. I really enjoyed the conceit of the little kids playing the game. I enjoyed Princess Kenny. I enjoyed the makeover game. I enjoyed going to Canada. I enjoyed the underpants gnomes. Those are the parts of the game that I found delightful. I don't like farting. I don't like pooping. I mean, I'll do it. I have to. But it doesn't...
I love farting and pooping.
I don't find it funny. I don't find it offensive. Like, it's less than offensive. It's just nothing, you know? So, it's tedious. The puzzles are really easy. There's no real reward for playing the game. Roundly 4. I love it.
Huh.
10 out of 10 recommendations from Vanessa.
Huh.
John, how do you feel about it?
Well, let's see. I think that the combat had some good points, but I feel like if you spec a certain way, sometimes the combat would just get really hard, and it's sort of unfair because it's like, well, I'm a thief, so I'm going to spec towards bleeding, and then you get into a couple of boss fights where it just doesn't work. And that's annoying because you can't really spec your companions, and the companions kind of suck except for their special moves most of the time. And it's like, okay, well, what do you want me to do? This is a boss that I am not able to fight very well, so I just have to kind of whittle it down slowly. So I don't know. I think the combat could use work. I think customizing the companions would have helped a lot, and maybe balancing it a bit better. Otherwise, it was pretty easy. I'm just too old for the humor. I mean, I know that there's people my age and older who love South Park, so that's not true, but I just feel like I grew out of it. I liked it back when I was in my teens or late teens, early 20s. But it's just not for me anymore. I didn't find it very funny. I laugh sometimes. I'm not going to pretend I didn't, but a lot of the times I just found it aggravating and just sad. So squarely against. I say it's definitely in the lower quarter of games we've played. It's not Bard's Tale bad, but pretty close.
It functions.
Vanessa and I are going to lift up the average on this game for sure the next time we do a ranker.
Not, because I think that sad is the right way to say it. Because the stuff like the abortion clinic, it didn't offend me or titillate me. It just made me really sad. And, we happened to play this game coinciding with the overturn of Roe v. Wade, so that didn't help.
Yeah.
So it was just sad. It's like, I like a little escapism in games, and this was just like, hey, you know how shit the world is? Here's how shit the world is, A
lot of the jokes felt like they said more about the people that wrote them than anything else,
That's kind of the problem with South Park, is that it's a fucking mouthpiece for these two libertarian turds rather than like a show that's trying to write comedy for comedy's sake, And
it's kind of a bummer because they can write a sharp comedy, obviously.
And they're fucking great at writing music.
Award-winning comedies, and they're fantastic at writing music.
Even the songs in this game are good. Like, even that Christmas song that plays over and over is annoying, but it's well written.
I disagree, actually. The main theme in the overworld is just the Skyrim theme, but it's Cartman, and I got sick of that after fucking
they should have had another track.
Minutes. Yeah. Holy shit, that thing lasts forever.
Mm-hmm.
But those guys can write a tune. So
it's sad
that they're always punching down.
Yeah, and they're like weird preoccupation with queerness and gay men, especially. It just feels weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does. It feels like it feels like personal obsessions. I don't know that they wrote this game, but it feels.
I'm sure they did.
It feels like, a lot of the stuff just really. It just feels like it says a lot more about them than it does, and the show does too. Like that, we've talked about it, that episode with everybody deciding that the word fag means motorcycle head and not gay man. And that whole thing.
Don't forget, it's straight people deciding that.
Yeah. Yep. That whole thing feels like there's no jokes. It's just a sad, pathetic example of sad, pathetic thinking. I don't know what else to say. Like, it's just fucking up a bummer.
Yeah, it just feels like it really coincides with a lot of the thinking you get these days of, like, white Christian men complaining that they're being replaced, Like,
yeah.
They don't say that explicitly, but it's hard to extract that sentiment from the kinds of sentiments that they're presenting, I think.
I mean, I feel like the inevitable next game in this series will have whole goddamn hours committed to cancel culture jokes. You know what I mean? Like, that's what it feels like.
For sure.
Like, the entitled complaining about, their lot in life. Like, the worst kind of fucking comedy. Mm-hmm. The worst kind of thing to listen to. An entitled rich person complaining about other people.
Right, and not recognizing that comedy has always been... Good comedy is responsive to the reality of what you live in and the culture you live in.
Whoa. We all know that comedy is meant to hurt people.
Yeah.
Hey guys, I think I have to go.
You can't go until you read the Patreon names. Let's wrap this up.
We have 14 emails to get through.
Oh yeah, I guess Jim can go.
Bye.
Bye. You did this to us, and now you're bailing on us at the last minute. We don't forgive you. Perfect timing.
So, emails. We've talked a lot about this game, but there are some parts of the game that we are not qualified to talk about because we ain't Jewish. So here is an email from a man named Ben. As a card-carrying American Jew, I can say with nearly 100% confidence that whoever came up with the idea of Jew class gaining strength from affliction was definitely Jewish. I wish I could articulate it better, but a very specific type of borderline, but not quite anti-Semitism, is a core element of Jewish humor. And then there's an addendum that there are, in fact, no cards for American Jews to carry. Stay beautiful from Ben.
Yay! And then my favorite email in the world.
The best
that
email we
got.
have ever received.
Mhm.
Can I read it?
Sure.
I'm going to try to read it in the spirit in which it was sent.
Okay.
Hi. IDK who you are or what you talk about, but my dad fell asleep listening to your podcast and I heard you say your email, so hey.
I feel like there's a 99% chance this is from either my or Jim's daughter.
So, if you're a dad who fell asleep listening to our podcast and you have a child, they're sending us emails, and we're not mad about it.
Well, I don't want them listening to my nonsense, but
Yeah, my daughter likes to talk about the podcast sometimes, and I like to tell her not to ever listen to it and to never tell her friends about it, because it is not for children. We talk a lot of shit on this show.
this is a podcast for grown-ups.
We talk a lot of a lot of adult topics here,
Yeah.
like how the president of the United States stole nuclear secrets and kept them in his pool house.
Mm-hmm. It's being investigated for espionage.
He's being investigated for espionage.
All right. Let's move on. We have Patreon.
We have Patreon, and the vote ends tomorrow. The vote ends the day this episode comes out in the evening, so I guess you're just going to have to tune in to the Twitters and the Facebooks to see the winner. But right now, A Wolf Among Us is the current lead by a healthy margin.
By a healthy margin, by a margin enough that Jim's probably going to start playing it. In the past, Jim has started playing the next game, and then it has lost because the vote wildly swings. So there's still time to do that.
We have a Patreon. It has 2 tiers. The $3 a month tier is the tier where you get to listen to all of our bonus content. We release monthly bonus episodes. They tend to be about random video game or pop culture related things. There are literally dozens of them at this point. So hours and hours of content for you waiting for you. Also, there's another tier, the $5 tier, where you get to vote. This is the year of votes. We've talked about it every episode. You know what's going on. We're doing votes. The current poll's about to end. We'll figure out the next poll soon. Stay tuned for all of that information. But the most important thing is at the end of the show, we read all of the names of all of the patrons that we pulled out of a hat for this episode. Johnny, get us started.
All right. So, I'll start with Jason Timms, Joshua W. Broxson, Miguel Torres, Metal Gear Solid 3 Snake Eater, and 2023 Snake Eater, Nia Mazzidi, Jerry Schreffler, Sean Walsh, Magpie Juju, Sergeant Spaghetti, Jeremy, I Am, Nathan Poirot, and Jackie Daytona.
Now
Jackie
it's me.
Daytona.
Ian Frederick, Vanessa for president. That's a great idea. I mean, I have ideas. I
need
have
to
a
go to work,
platform.
Vanessa.
Brian Pitt, Robert T. Michael Marno, Robert M. Pullum, DP 2099, Fresh Eyes, Stephen Paget, Tracy the Board Queen, Zeno Gussie, and Esteban Gonzalez.
And Matthew would like to thank Uwu Face, Kristen Ingram, My Battery is Low, Chris Ryan, Huxley Iguana, CharityWater.org, Metal Gear Solid 2 in 2022. I'm confused. Justin Rash, Aiden Marriott, Chad Wilson, Justin Ham, Aaron, Zelda 2 is underrated little. I agree with that statement. Zelda 2 is a fantastic game.
Send us an email. You know our email address. It's squarerootspodcast@gmail.com. If you absolutely cannot be bothered to send an email, please come see us at the Facebook group, the Square Roots Podcast group for smart, cool, very attractive people. Actually, you should do that because it's a good group. Like, it's a genuinely good video game space to be in. Or you can tweet at us, specifically me, at Square Roots Pod. Please
That's not what
tweet
it says
to
on the
me.
notes, Vanessa.
I know you changed it to Fart Roots Pod. I'm not going to say that. Please tweet to me at Square Roots Pod about Taskmaster. I got an email about Taskmaster to the Square Roots email address. It was the best day of my life.
Yep.
Someone want to say the rate and review part?
Oh, sure. I'll do that.
Do it, John.
Please rate, review, and subscribe on iTunes, Ghana, or wherever you listen to podcasts. Thanks to Stephen Morris for our Square Roots theme. You can find Stephen on Twitter as Beige on Beige and on YouTube. Links in the show notes.
For all our Spotify listeners, our classic episodes are on squareroots.libsyn.com or the RSS feed. I don't know what that means, but I say it every week.
For the Square Roots podcast, I'm Jim Banks.
I'm Johnny Brandon.
I'm Matthew Van Zant.
I'm Vanessa.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.